Ride along live worldwide, feel the beat, feel the vibe, amazing host leading the ride. Power to the people we shine, giving fans what they need. Caribbean spirit, let's succeed. Every show with a good deed, together we plant the seed. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host we belong.
I want you folks to play these 3 games from the NLA. Daily pick 3 cash flow and play with. You will be supporting sports and culture, nation building and our future. So go out and play, folks, make it a must. You will see what the National Lottery is doing for us. When you play pick 3 cash flow and play with, the NLA will support you all the way.
Starting September 30th, Monday to Friday, these 3 games will be drawn mid-morning, 9:45 a.m., midday, 12:45 p.m., and evenings, 7:45 p.m. The National Lotteries, supporting sports, culture, and nation building.
Sunday money day.
Yo! Ride Along Live, welcome to the ride. Welcome to Wednesday, Hum Day on the ride. Yeah! Nice. Beautiful. Wednesday inside NYC. I just say thank you and good afternoon to everyone. Nice and welcome to the ride. Yeah, put on your seatbelt, guys. It might be a bumpy one. Yeah, it's going to be a bumpy one. Today we're going to be speaking with a friend of mine. His name is Rickford Burke. He is a political commentator. Well, an activist, yeah? Activist Rickford Burke. He's also the president of the Caribbean Guyana Institute for Democracy. And also joining us, and Rickford, by the way, is no stranger to the Ride Along Live. Also joining us is the former Assistant Commissioner of Police and the former Chairman of the Guyana Police Service Commission. Because there have been something very interesting happening. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. Lady, how are you doing? So, Labor Day. If you guys was really paying attention, you would have seen that there was a protest on the streets of Brooklyn ahead of the parade, right? This parade was in condemnation for the action that Burke say by the government, by the PPPC, the current ruling government of Guyana. Now, it gets very interesting. I want you guys to take a quick look at this clip and it sort of explain the whole story. Check this out.
Meanwhile, ministers in the People's Progressive Party civic government were greeted by a crowd of protesters at Monday's annual Labor Day parade. Daisy Richards has more.
Overseas-based Guyanese and political activist Rickford Burke on Monday, along with fellow Guyanese, protested in the streets of New York against the incumbent administration, the People's Progressive Party Civic, PPPC. Burke highlighted that the government has allegedly been unfair to overseas-based Guyanese who appear to be speaking out against their actions.
We want the world to know what is going on in Guyana. The first thing is that the Guyana government has been targeting Guyanese leaders who speak out against against them here in New York.
He added that the Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI, has launched an investigation in regard to Guyana's government, which includes a death threat against him.
A government official is trying to hire a hitman to have me killed. That person is an FBI informant.
Burke believes that the PPPC administration is being racist against overseas-based Afro-Guyanese. He also called for an investigation into the government for alleged transnational crimes.
We're calling for an investigation of the genocide that Barry Jagdev committed with the death squads. And the other placards talk about using the police against black leaders.
Burke added that there should be a change in the U.S. foreign policy against the PPPC government. For AGP Nightly News, I am Daisy Richards.
All right. So joining us now to explain all of this is, of course, the president of the Caribbean Guyana Institute for Democracy, Mr. Rickford Burke. Rickford, welcome. How are you, my friend?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. Good night to the Ride Along fans.
Full disclosure, guys. A couple of years ago, I have to tell them, Rickford. A couple of years ago, Rickford and I teamed up on a podcast. That's before Facebook had a live. That's before all of that stuff. That was way before that.
That's when we were really, really young.
Yeah. Well, you got old, so yeah, I stayed the same. But yeah,
right.
we're working on this project many years. Trying to get the word out of the Caribbean presence here in the diaspora, and we were pretty good at it. We had a lot of viewers. You were the host, I was the producer, I was behind the scenes, and we worked really hard in producing that. So it was. We just had to tell them the history. You know what I mean? Wait, it all started.
Yes, you're a big one now. You're a big shot now.
I don't know about that.
And I'm still the humble poor guy.
I see you chilling with Hakeem Jeffrey and all these guys. I remember you brought Hakeem to my basement.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
That's like 20 years ago.
That's a long time. And let me tell you guys this. I know we're talking a lot, but I got to tell you guys this. One time when I was on the other side of the law, right? I was on the other side of the law at one point in time because I got arrested because my license was suspended. And Rickford actually helped me out when everybody else was getting all kind of drink, milk and stuff to drink. They was bringing me apples and oranges, all because of Rickford, because he helped me out and he told him put me in a special place, so I was there by myself. So it helped me out a lot. So let's put it like this. Thank you so much, my brother.
Good man.
Yeah. So Rickford, what the hell is going on? I'm seeing protests. I'm seeing you leading protests ahead of Labor Day. What is really happening, Rickford?
Well, we had the protest to bring attention, create further awareness as to what is happening in Guyana. We have a racist government in Guyana, the People's Progressive Party government. That party has a history of anti-Black racism, going back to the 60s, in 1960, when the party lost power from 1960 to 1964. They basically burned the country, went into Afro-Guyanese communities, killed them, burned their homes, burned their villages, run them out of certain villages. That's why in Guyana you have Blacks and in East Indians living in separate towns, separate villages. We don't live together. That's what caused it. And then in the the Burnham multiracial government came to power from 1964 straight to 2002. We had peace and tranquility in the country. They gained power again in 1992, and from 1992 straight through to 2010, when they 2015, when they lost power, they had a racist government again. They slaughtered over 1,400 young Black men. They formed death squads that killed Black people. They have now been thrusted into office where we have oil resources. They're using all of the oil money to enrich themselves and their friends and their family. Black people are suffering in Guyana. It's an ethnocracy. They have Black people under subjugation. Afro-Guyanese, as we say in Guyana, can't speak out against this government. If you do, you get arrested. If you protest, you get arrested. Every talk show host, such as yourself, Junior, has been arrested. If you're not arrested, they target you. So they have intimidated people at home, in the homeland. And because of that, you have a lot of talk shows that have popped up in the diaspora, including myself, Mark Benchcop, who they jailed for 5 years without committing any crime. And now they've been targeting us. I'm the chief person that they're targeting because of my influence here in the United States. I know people like the Vice President, the Attorney General, members of Congress, several members of Congress, local elected officials. And I've been talking to these people, and some of them have been speaking out, including the Attorney General and members of Congress. And we had a conference on Washington last year where we wanted to bring attention, just like we did on Labor Day, to the atrocities committed by the government. This government spent $6 to $1 million attacking me in Washington. And then they sent up a team, including the president, to come to pre-butt the conference. Barjagde, the vice president, even threatened members of Congress that if they go to the conference, he's going to join with the Republicans and bring them down. So they have oil money now, and that's what they're using the oil money for, to attack and declare war on the black population. You have the Attorney General who thinks that he's a power unto himself. He's been attacking myself, Paul Slow, and other members of the Guyanese community here in New York. But in particular, these people have a history of killing out black people. The Attorney General was investigated. In writing, I received that, investigated by the Guyana Police Force, then Guyana Police Force under the Granger administration, allegedly for the death of Courtney Camuing, who was an activist who was protesting against him and then was shot dead. He has said he had nothing to do with it, but we don't know what the investigation found. There's no transparency. Also, he attacked me, went live on TV, called me all sorts of names, made all sorts of false allegations against me, committed a host of cyber crimes based on their own definition of what cybercrime is. He came up here and we protested against him, and the next day, he called a meeting and allegedly advocated for me to be killed. That matter was reported to the NYPD. They launched an investigation. He was declared wanted at one point in time. He got the Guyana Police Force to call the NYPD and try to make all sorts of false allegations. Then they issued a false statement on behalf of the NYPD. All sort of confusion. But the fact of the matter is that the Attorney General of Guyana, who has a history of criminality, came up here and tried to arrange for me to be killed. And now, secondly, we had an informant informing me sometime this year, me and law enforcement, that a senior Guyana police officer with very strong and close ties to the PPP, People's Progressive Party, which is the ruling party in government, came up here and attempted to hire a hitman to kill me.
Right.
The FBI has launched an investigation into that matter.
Let's take a pin right there. Let's take a pin there, Rickford, because
Yes.
the government have a pushback on those statements, and
Right.
especially dealing with the allegations of having someone sent up from Guyana to have you killed. In a press release, the government said that in relation to the allegation, they said as a result of the investigation through members of the Guyanese police force, based upon legal advice and received by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution and an independent constitutional office, Burke and other persons were charged with 2 counts of the following extortion offenses: conspiracy to commit felony contrary to Section 333 of the criminal law. They went on to say that these charges, the Guyana government of Guyana noted, are pending before magistrate in the district of which the offense was allegedly committed. The magistrate, upon examination of the charges, issued a summons to be served upon you, Mr. Rickford Burke, by the Guyana Police Force, authorized by the relevant criminal statute to do so. So they went on to say that you was notified, and the person in question that was sent from Guyana was a police officer to work along with a licensed process server here in New York to issue those charges against you. This is what the government is saying.
Junior, all of that is absolute nonsense. First of all, a Guyana police force officer has no jurisdiction in the United States. That's the first thing. But there are 2 unrelated matters. The person that came up here allegedly to investigate me was sent by the government to survey my home. They were committing espionage. That person attempted to hire a hitman, a person who he thought would take money to kill me. They're two separate things. But so let me make that very clear. And that person, again, reported the matter to law enforcement and the FBI got involved. Now, let me talk about the issue where the government is talking about I was charged. First of all, the laws of Guyana only permit Guyanese police officers to operate within the jurisdiction of Guyana, which means the geographical bounds of Guyana. That's number one.
Right.
Number two,
they're saying that he
I understand what they're saying.
concert with a process server here in the United States. He was
But a process server in the United States doesn't have the authority to serve someone with a criminal matter, with a criminal summons. A process servicer in the United States is not a law enforcement officer. A process servicer in the United States is a person who works with a lawyer who takes civil writs to people and serve it. So like if you want to sue me for libel, a process services license to come to me and nail it on my door or whatever it is. Second, the government has been using criminal charges to try to silence us in the diaspora and to commit transnational repression crimes. They're trying to intimidate us. I live in the United States. I have not been to Guyana in 25 years. How can I commit a crime in Guyana? Let me tell you what the government is calling a crime. The government has the owners of a car dealership that finances their operations, their political operations. It's called BM Soot. BM Soot is scamming.
Allegedly, because
well, yeah, so it's allegedly scamming.
It's been alleged.
Right. I'm alleging that, and thousands of Guyanese are alleging that BM Soot scams their customers, particularly poor Black people. And this is what they do. They sell you a car, and then allegedly after you sign the contract of sale, they add conditions to it. They staple other things onto it. That's number one. Number two, if you take a guarantor for this car, for the purchase of the car, and you default, they allegedly seize your car, which is the collateral for the loan, and they seize the property or the collateral the guarantor has, which is unlawful. But the government of Guyana allows it to happen because these people finance their whole political operation. We spoke out against that. In addition to that, a young Black business owner, male business owner, sold them, he has an oil company, he sold them fuel to the tune of $170 million. They refused to pay him. He complained to CGID, which is my organization. My organization made a Facebook post calling on the dealership to pay these people and to stop scamming them. That's what the government is calling extortion. What they want to do is stay in Guyana and charge us with crimes to silence us and to scare Black elected officials from supporting us. That's their objective. That's not going to scare me. That's not going to shut me up. So it is that summons that they brought to my house. And let me tell you what they did. And the FBI is now investigating whether or not the Attorney General deliberately attempted to mislead the US government. And let me tell you what they did. They lied to the magistrate that I came to Guyana, committed a crime, and left. If you look at the summons, it says I committed the crime in Guyana and that I live in Guyana. That's the only way they could have got the magistrate to sign a summons, right? And then they issue a statement saying the magistrate give them permission to send a summons abroad. Magistrate doesn't have jurisdiction in the United States. If you want to charge someone with a crime in the United States, you have to go to the court in Guyana, try to get the person extradited, send that to the United States government, and then the United States government will have the person go to a judge, present the evidence, and then they'll be extradited or not. What they have done is assume they have world power, right? Charge me with a crime in Guyana, even though I haven't been to Guyana in 25 years, and then say to the United States government, oh, send Rickford Burke to Guyana because we've charged him with a crime. The United States government informed them that they're violating my constitutional rights by doing that. They didn't stop there. They continue and they continue until they send. We don't know who the people they send. No one identified themselves to me. I was going to church one day and two men with guns rolled up on my home. No one identified themselves. I walked past them, left them in my yard, and left. they left something on my stairs. We circled the block, came back and saw them searching through my mail, which is a federal offense. I guess they wanted to verify that I get mail at the house. Then we called the police. The police came, NYPD came. They looked, I didn't look at the document. They immediately looked at the document they left on my step. Says it was an act of international terrorism. They called the Joint Terrorism Task Force here in New York, which is the FBI, NYPD, ATF, and other law enforcement agencies. And then the FBI came and seized the document that they left and took it away for analysis to get the fingerprints of the persons who left that document and who committed that crime. They committed state offenses with regard to possession of weapons and intimidating people with a weapon. They also
the police officer in question who came in from Guyana. You said he was also carrying a weapon?
Yes. He had a weapon in his waist, and the person who came with him had a weapon in his waist. We did not know who it was because we couldn't identify the people. We didn't know who these people were. It is not until a statement was issued from here that the government of Guyana acknowledged that they sent somebody, and they're making it sound as though they're legal. It was illegal because here's their strategy. Their strategy is in order to get back at Rickford Burke because the Attorney General of New York condemned them and the Congress members condemned them. To get back at me, they'll make up a crime in Guyana against me all the way in another continent, and then try to have the US government extradite me so that I could be killed in Guyana. They went so far as to arrange for a group to kidnap me because they thought I was going to Guyana with a US delegation and take me to the highway, Lyndon Suzanne Highway, to be killed. And the person who they arranged that with called someone up here and warned them to warn me not to come to Guyana because that's what the government, members of the government contacted them to do. So this is not no make up anything. The government of Guyana has no jurisdiction to charge me with any crime. If I'm charged with if I commit a crime in the United States, the NYPD or the FBI will arrest me. The FBI came to my house and told me all what the government of Guyana is saying is nonsense. And that's what they're investigating. Not me. They're investigating the government of Guyana, attempting to use criminal charges to commit transnational repression crimes here in the United States to repress my freedom of expression, which is to continue to criticize them for their corruption and their racism.
All right, so let's bring on the program right now. Paul Slow is Paul Slow is a former assistant commissioner of police and a former chairman of the Guyana Police Service Commission. Paul, welcome to the ride. How are you doing, my friend? Oh, sorry, let me unmute you. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Right, sir. I'm good in the circumstances. I'm okay.
Yes. Well, welcome to the ride. You're officially family. Paul,
yes.
Add some context to this whole situation right here. You're a former assistant commissioner of police. What do you know about all of this case and all of this happening? How is your story similar to Mr. Burke's story here?
Well, first of all, as you indicated, I'm a retired assistant commissioner from the Guyana Police Force. I served for 37 years. And then I was also the immediate past chairman of the Police Service Commission. Now the Police Service Commission has the constitutional responsibility to promote ranks in the Guyana Police Force from inspector to assistant commissioner. So I think I know a little bit about the procedure in relation to serving of summons and all of that. And based on what was in the media in this matter with Burke, I mean, I read the summons, I looked at the entire procedure, total illegality. The address that they put on the summons is an address somewhere on the east coast of Demerara. In other words, they created the impression to the magistrate that this person, Burke, Rickford Burke, at the time lived at some place called Friendship on the east coast of Demerara. And I think based on that misleading information, the magistrate issued a summons. But the magistrate has no jurisdiction to issue a summons for someone, or as they were saying, authorize the summons to be served in the U.S. Magistrate don't authorize where a summons is to be served. The magistrate issues a summons, and then the police in Guyana, they are the ones who are going to serve the summons. So we had a case where the magistrate was misled into issuing the summons, believing that the defendant Bork lived in Guyana at the time when this offense is alleged to have committed. Then another illegality, the police officer, a serving police officer in Guyana, traveled from Guyana to the United States with the summons, with this illegal summons to say that it's going to be served on Burke. And what they are saying, this is not disputed because this is what they said, that once this officer got to New York, he engaged the services of a process server in the United States, and they went to Burke's residence, and they're claiming that the process server is the one who served a summons issued by a magistrate in Guyana. And all the police officer did was to stand there and to record what was transpiring. All this is illegal because they admitted that this police officer left Guyana and traveled to the United States. So he left and worked in the United States to engage the services of this process server. And then he went to Bork's residence, and this is not allegedly because they admitted that. He went there and they said that all he did, he stood some 100 yards away and he recorded the process. Well, I have the fortune and the privilege of knowing where Bork lives. And to have stood 100 yards away, he can't see, he could not have been able to see anything and to record. The recording that they displayed showed that he was right there. This officer was right there. So all of that is part of the strategy to try to criminalize and to discredit persons who they perceive to be vocal and who are in opposition, or persons who speak out about the corruption. And I fall in that category because, let me tell your listeners, as I said, I was the chairman of the Police Service Commission.
Yes.
One of the responsibilities of the commission is to promote persons from the rank of inspector to assistant commissioner. The commission met in the commission that I chaired came into office in August of 2018, August the 9th to be exact. The Constitution stipulates that the life of the commission is 3 years. So automatically it ends on 3 years after you're sworn in, unless you are resworn to serve. Now, the president, if you can recall, President Irfan Ali came into office on the 2nd of August, 2020.
Yes.
A meeting was arranged, and I'm using the word carefully. A meeting was arranged, and this meeting was not an official meeting, so even though the meeting was kept at the president's office. And I said it wasn't official because it's not anyone of his staff arranged this meeting. It was arranged by a third party, an outside party. President wanted to see me. I went there and I saw him on the 16th of September 2020. He then wanted or tried to influence the promotion of some senior officers in the force. Those officers are pending disciplinary matters, which is a bar to being promoted. And I told him that. I explained to him the process and said to him that once people have pending disciplinary matters, they cannot be considered for promotion until those matters have been decided, which is a natural and logical thing. All right. The commission met on the 23rd of December, 2020, and created a short list of persons to be further considered for promotion. The very night of the 23rd of December, again, a meeting, I was asked to call the president. And I reluctantly did so because, why I say I reluctantly did so, because the fact that the commission met on that day to shortlist persons for promotion, and based on the previous conversation I had with the president, I had the sneaking suspicion that he wanted to discuss the promotion, which is improper. President has nothing to do with promotions at that level. Anyhow, the discipline got the better of me, and I called the president. And he wanted to know about the promotion of the very persons who had pending disciplinary matters. And I told him that they were not shortlisted because they have pending disciplinary matters. He flew into a rage. And he made a lot of noise, and that conversation ended abruptly. And then the whole thing started because they then decided to start to target me. They targeted me. I was, as the chairman of the Police Service Commission, I and other retired senior officers were invited by the then commissioner to assist in the revision of the police standing order, which we agreed to do, or 2 days a week. Now, no money was discussed. When I took the decision to assist.
Mr. Slow, just one second right there. 1 second. I'm getting the feedback from the viewers that they are having some issues with the connection. So let me just make sure that the connection, I'm seeing that you're freezing up. Let me know if it's happening when I'm speaking as well, so we can isolate this issue of the connection that you guys get. And I want the story to be told, and the story to be told properly. So just give me a feedback, guys, if you are seeing, if you are getting a connection. Is it a bad connection? Let me know. I'm not sure why you're getting a bad. I'm seeing a lot of people saying bad connection. Stand by, guys. Let me fix that. Let's take a quick break and try to isolate what is causing the bad connection. I will be right back. You're watching Right Along Live. Don't move.
Today. Located inside Rider Excursion at the Esplanade Mall, we handle both small and large orders with speed and precision. For fast, quality t-shirt printing, call Instaprint at 473-422-1011. Get your perfect print today at Instaprint. Printing done in an instant.
I want to test this connection here again. I saw in the chat that person was having problem connecting with us properly. That should not be the case because my internet connection is up to 100. My visual looks clear on my end. So I want you guys to give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you are having problems with the connection. Just give me a thumbs up if you're having problem with the connection when I'm speaking, so we could isolate the problem right there. All right. Quick thumbs up if you're having problem with if you're hearing me properly, so we could isolate the problem. Watching Right Along Live, again, we speaking here with Mr. Rickford Burke and Mr. Paul Slow about the issue surrounding allegations of corruption in the government of Guyana. Again, these are allegations, and also to speak about the protests right prior to the Labor Day festivity on Eastern Parkway. So again, guys, we want to test to make sure that you guys are hearing me properly. You hearing me? You hear me good? I'm clear. I'm good and clear, or it's only the guess. All right. So hold on. Let me fix Mr. Slow internet or connection, and then we'll come right back to him. Mr. Slow, stand by 1 second right there. Rickford, are you hearing me, Rickford?
Yes, loud and clear.
Good. I want you guys to give me an indication if when Rickford speak, if you're hearing it. I don't know why there was a bad connection with Mr. Slow. Rickford, you mentioned earlier about, you had this allegation about this individual coming into New York to assassinate you. That was your allegation. How do you know that to be a fact?
Well, I'm not sure if the person came into New York or was already in New York. What I know is that, I'll speak of the most recent incident, which is the one you're talking about with the, there have been several threats against me, and, I've had police protection in some instances and so on, but these are credible threats. The government of Guyana 2 weeks ago announced that it was informed by the FBI that it's on the investigation for these allegations. So how I know? I received a call from a source that source informed law enforcement that they received information about a very credible plot to have me killed, to hire a hitman to kill me. That person informed me that of who were the recruiters and how much money was paid. That information was also with law enforcement. We then met with law enforcement, including federal agents, and the federal agents were able to get more information about the identity of the people involved in this conspiracy. And an investigation was launched by the FBI. People were identified. I guess the law enforcement folks did what they did, but I was placed on alert, on security alert, that the so-called persons who were hired to kill me were within the vicinity of New York. Whether they were here before or not, I'm not at liberty to say, but that those persons were being assessed by law enforcement, and the threat was assessed to be credible. And then they put security measures in place. I could tell you that when I had my birthday party at my house in February, my house was under NYPD security observation.
Wow.
That's not an idle thing. But in addition to that, I've been receiving death threats, including what I said earlier about in relation to the Attorney General. And let me tell you how I got that information. We had a big protest against the Attorney General because he made some false statements against me on TV. He committed cyber crime. He said that I raped somebody in New York, I was arrested, I went to jail, I thief money from people. That's how they do. They like to make up stuff again. It's like Jim Crow. The exact playbook of how the conservatives or the Jim Crow or KKK folks did to Black people, that's the exact playbook the government of Guyana is using to silence its critics.
So why didn't you take legal action against?
Legal action was taken against the Attorney General.
What happened?
In Guyana and in New York. And there's a police report. You'll see the report said that the Attorney General was wanted. He then tried to interfere in the election, in the investigation in New York. But let me tell you how I got that information. A law enforcement officer was in, or somehow heard, he was wherever this discussion was taking place, and heard for himself what the Attorney General said. He recorded part of the information. He then called 911 and me, and together we were on the phone. So while he was notifying me, he was also notifying the police of what he heard. The 71st Precinct took that report. The FBI took that report, and both agencies launched an investigation. That's the most I could say. Now, the Attorney General subsequently got the police commissioner in Guyana to call the NYPD to tell the NYPD I had made up the allegation. What they did not know is that there was a witness. And like I said, that matter is ongoing. Now, that's one matter. The second matter that I'm talking about, where a senior Guyana police force officer with a history of allegedly participating in death squad activities, came to Guyana and actually literally tried to hire someone to kill me. And that person reported it to law enforcement as well. And that police officer was stopped at the airport subsequently and detained for 8 hours when they were coming into the United States and then when they were leaving the United States.
So some people might say, Rickford, this could just be a situation where you have bad blood with some business people in Guyana, and probably your advocacy work is affecting their business. So they might want to take actions against you. What that have to do with the government?
No, this is the government. First of all, the Vice President of Guyana, Bart Jagdale, attacks me every week at his press conference. He has a press conference on Thursday. I guarantee you, I call all Grenadians, all members of the Caribbean community, listen to his press conference on Thursday. An entire segment would be about me, and that's been so for the last 2 years. And that has been so since the Attorney General of New York warned them. The Attorney General warned them.
Yeah,
I sent you the video. I guess you can play it.
Let's play the clip.
Stand and reaffirm the comments of my brother, Congressmember Jeffries. The United States will not tolerate racism in Guyana or any other country. And I also want the officials to know that if any harm comes to Rickford Burke, let me say that again. If any harm comes to Rickford Burke or anyone on this dais or anyone in this room, there'll have to be answers. We will immediately demand answers, and I can tell you that someone will be held accountable for those actions.
Okay. That was the Attorney General, Letitia James, here in New York, speaking out for your protection.
Yes, because they know that this is not false allegations. And let me tell you what, in addition to that, the government, in response to the FBI announcement that they're investigating them, wrote the FBI and made up all sorts of things. I mean, if you see the stupidness, they said, I am causing violence in Guyana. I'm committing terrorism in Guyana. I'm committing racial hostility. This man worked really powerful based on the government of Guyana. And one of the things I complained about is them sending a police officer with another gunman to my home. And in the very statement, in the very letter they wrote to the FBI, they began by saying, we categorically denied all allegations. That's the blanket statement.
Yeah.
Then they went on to say, yes, we sent somebody to his house, but we believe it's legal. How can you then, and one of the allegations I reported to the FBI is that they sent a gunman to my house. And in the very statement, they denied it, and then they accept responsibility for it and say, yes, we did it.
Right. Burke, I want you to, in part of the statement that I was reading earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to this part, but this is interesting because they said here that you accepted service of the document from said licensed process server on the stairs of your premises in Brooklyn, New York, and the entire process was videotaped by the police officer of Guyana. So you said that they left it on your step.
Junior, nothing. I want the people of Grenada and the Caribbean to understand this. Nothing the PPP government says is true. Never for 1 second believe anything they said. It is not true. The government themselves, if issued the video, and I'll try to get the video to you. I'll look for it. The video shows that I'm coming out of my home and some man pushes a paper towards me. I looked at it, walked away, asked him to leave my yard. He walked behind me, harassing me, taping me, going into the car, right? And by the way, I had someone with me with a licensed firearm, and they had firearm. I was going to church. It could have been a very deadly day with what they did. And I exercised complete restraint because it was my Sabbath. But on any other day, they run up in my house with guns. It's not going to end nice because that's a serious threat to me and my family. But the tape shows that the man throw the thing on the step and say, hey, here it is, you've been served, whatever. And he walked behind me. Do you have the video? I don't know if you have it.
No, I don't have the video, but I'm a former process server as well. You were legally served. That is legal service. You know that.
No, first of all, the government of Guyana issued a statement saying that the process server read this summons to me.
Okay.
Right? Then they said, whatever. But you just said, the Attorney General said, I accepted. We're not talking about what constitutes legally served. He said, I accepted. Accepting something has a definition. It means I literally accept something from the process server. They're attempting to mislead the FBI. And as you know, under US law, lying to the FBI is a crime. And that's why there's another investigation to determine whether or not the government is deliberately attempting to mislead the FBI. What they're doing under US law is called transnational repression crime. They're trying to use criminal charges to commit transnational repression crimes against me. And what they're trying to do is basically procure the United States government to carry out their own death squad activities. They want to get the US government to take action against me, and then they say, hey, the US government is the one that did it. And they can't use death squads to kill people anymore, like they did. The whole world is watching. So what they're doing is using the Guyana police force. They deliberately put a man who caused 3 people to be shot because why? They protested electricity rate hikes. And he shot them. He ordered them to be shot. He's from their party, and they put him there. He's not qualified. He's the new police commissioner, and he's doing all of these dirty things. They have now gotten someone to come and say Paul Slope raped them or groped them or something. And every day they're adding charges and charges against Paul Slope and other Guyanese leaders. And like I said before, every single black talk show host in Guyana has been arrested by the same police commissioner. This is now a police force that is acting as part of the political party in government. And as a result of the protests, your viewers will find this very interesting. As a result of the protests we had on the Eastern Parkway, the government of Guyana today announced that they will change the laws to make protesting and criticizing the government of Guyana in New York illegal in Guyana, and you could be charged in Guyana. A bunch of mad, power-drunk people, East Indian people, who hate black people. That's it. They are promoting East Indian supremacy. And they believe that they're more supreme to black people. We're second-class citizens. They have oil money, and that's what they're going to use the country's oil money to do, harass black people abroad.
Let me see if I could get the whole context of that. But let's see if we could get back in Mr. Slow. Mr. Slow, sorry for leaving you out on this very, very important part of the conversation here. I just want to make sure that your audio and visual is clear. If not, I'll have to bring you on for an entire show by yourself because your story is very interesting and I want to hear it. Let's try again, Mr. Slow. On this question here, it's now being alleged that the police force, and you, sir, was the a former assistant commissioner of police, right? And they're saying, and Mr. Rickford Buck is alleging here that there is major corruption in the police force. Were there major corruption in the police force when you was at the position of the assistant commissioner of police?
Well, I hope you can hear me now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you very, very well.
Okay, good.
Make sure that everybody else could hear you well so you could continue to talk.
Yeah, let me continue to talk and we look at the comments to see if they can hear me now.
Yes.
Let me say this, to be quite fair, to be quite honest, there has always been allegations of corruption in the Guyana police, always. I suspect most police forces would have allegations made against officers, allegations of corruption made against officers. But I can say this without any fear of contradiction. The levels of corruption that now, since let's say 2020 in the police force, is unprecedented. Unprecedented, the levels of corruption. And only recently, I don't know if your viewers have been following, only recently, about 2 months ago, the assistant commissioner in the Guyana police force in charge of administration, they said that he requested to go on leave because he was being investigated for money laundering and, as they say, financial impropriety. This is where he deposited 16.5 million Guyana dollars into the credit union. And then when they recognized that it was an illegal transaction, the money was returned. It is said that currently, this is carried in the news, that the banks have frozen the accounts of this assistant commissioner and his wife because of suspicious transactions. That is what is said. It is further alleged that when his office was searched during the course of the initial stage of this investigation, they found over 100 million Guyana dollars in his office, which is 100 million Guyana dollars. We're talking here about 500,000 US or thereabout. So there's no doubt that the corruption now is more rampant than ever. Just back a few years ago, a police officer who was at the CID headquarters came out on social media and alleged that the man who was in charge of the major crime unit took 30 million Guyana dollars from a businessman who was recently sanctioned by the United States government for covering up a murder of a guy, Ricardo Fugundes, called Paper Short. These things are there. Only this weekend, on Saturday, if you're following the news, people would have seen that there was this massive drug bust in a region of Guyana. They're claiming 4,400 kilograms of cocaine found. Operation involving the USDA, the Special Forces of the Army, and the Custom Anti-Narcotics Unit. Not a single police. They did not involve the police in that operation. And I believe, that is my view, that the reason why that is so is because they did not trust the police. We're saying today, one of the headlines in one of the dailies in today, Kaicho News, you can see it. They're saying that a senior police officer is fingered in that massive drug bust. So the question about corruption now, I mean, no one can deny that the corruption now is more rampant, more pervasive than it ever has been. As I said, I have had cause when I was in the force to charge serving policemen with corruption. I charge. In one case, I know policeman went to jail because he was involved in corruption. But I can say this, and I'm telling you again, that these allegations, and many of them are proven now, are beyond belief. And we're talking about right up at the very top. The issue that I spoke about, where the assistant commissioner deposited $16.5 million, and the receipt is there, that the money was deposited, and then it was returned to him. This around the same time, maybe the very next day, I'm not sure the timeline, the acting commissioner of police called those ranks who did the correct thing, who stopped this illegal transaction, to his office, berated them, and caused them to be removed from that position immediately. They have all been removed. And the media, the Demerara Waves, gentleman by the name of Dennis Chabral, on the sidelines of an activity, again about 2 months ago at the Marriott Hotel, asked the commissioner about this this $16.5 million deposit and the investigation. And he said he's on tape telling people that no deposit was made, none whatsoever, and that there is no investigation, when in fact the deposit was made and there was an investigation. These are things. I have a program called Speaking Out, exposing corruption and incompetence on Mondays, on Wednesdays, on YouTube and Facebook. And I play these tapes, I play these recordings so that people can see these are not made up stuff. These are not made up stuff. These are things that are happening there. And the ranks in the force and the people in Guyana, they know. But people are afraid to speak. People are afraid to speak. Because of my outspoken program where we are calling out these things, I receive word sometimes from two sources. I live in New York, that they are trying to recruit hitmen. I have joined work in that to assassinate me. That is what
you also got death threat as well.
Well, I am not a death threat as such, because no one called me and threatened me to say they're going to kill me. But I receive word from confidential and reliable source that there is this plan afoot to recruit hitmen in the United States to take me out, so to speak. And these are credible things. I have made a report to the federal agents about it. And we know that you can't make up these things to the federal agent, because you're going to then be committing a crime. So these reports have been made, and they are going to be looked at, I am sure. So you see, these things cannot be made up. The corruption in the force is unprecedented. And what we are talking about the frequency alone. We're talking about the amount of money that is involved. We're talking about the amount of money on any currency. We quote this money, 100 million Guyana dollars. We say Guyana dollars. The exchange is basically, we always say 2 to 1. But you're talking about 500,000 US dollars. And in my take, that is big money for me any place. I mean, some people will believe that is chump change, but for me it is not. 500,000 US dollars is a lot of money, and these are the levels of corruption that you're hearing going on. And again, I say, major drug operation over the weekend involving 4,400 kilograms of drugs, and the police is left out. The police left out. The regional commander left out. And today, the Daily is saying that a police, they didn't name the police officer, but they say a senior police officer is fingered in this drug operation. So that tells you a story.
Yeah. Burke, I stop you short of going deeper into that detail of the current published report, because I wanted to pull it up myself. And I'm going to follow it. The recent comments, Attorney General Nanlal has announced plans by the government to update the country's cybercrime legislation with a new regulation framework that will specifically cover social media. Give us some details about your understanding of that legislation.
So let me tell you what, the government of Guyana has been able to silence talk show hosts in Guyana. 90% of the media in Guyana is run by East Indian supporters of the PPP. The 10% or less than 10% Afro-Guyanese in the media are intimidated. They're not, every time they say something, they get police come and visit the office, raid the offices or whatever it is. And if they're social media talk show hosts like us, they get arrested and charged with a cybercrime. And Guyana cybercrime law says to embarrass a public official is a crime. Embarrass. If you defame them or if you slander them, it's a crime. They have taken the libel statutes and make it into a criminal statute. In addition to that, they're now targeting overseas. That's why they're targeting. I have a very influential show. You know, sometimes 100,000 people watch my one show or whatever that I have. And they don't want us to criticize them. They don't want us to expose their racism. Like Paul has a show talking mainly about police corruption and what's going on in government and so on. And so what they want to do is do to us on social media what they do to the people on the ground in Guyana. And it's only Afro-Guyanese. And let me tell you this. The government of Guyana has East Indians, and one is a mixed race person, attacking us every day in the most vicious way. They call us the N-word, they call us hungry belly dogs, all these things they call us. And that's not cybercrime. The cybercrime is only directed to Black people who criticize the racist East Indians in the PPP government that want to reinstate slavery against Black people in Guyana.
The Attorney General said here that he has became tired of seeing citizens of being harassed and slander on social media. So why you and others in the media are not seeing it just as a way to protect people's
But what's slandered? He's saying that because he is being criticized. People are calling for an investigation of him, whether or not he committed a crime. Listen, that Attorney General was charged and arrested for stealing government assets when he was the previous Attorney General. He went to every single court to have the charges dismissed, up to the highest court, the Court of Appeal. And the court ruled that there was substantial evidence to charge him and he must go and stand trial. When they came into power, he was never exonerated. When they came into power, the DPP withdrew the charges because she's from their political party. Now, if they want to talk about slander and harass, I could send you a video right now, Junior, where that same Attorney General got on national TV in Guyana and say, I'm a convicted criminal, I raped some child, Desmond Hoyt fired me because I thief money, I robbed East Indian people, I run the country. When I left Guyana, I was working in the office of the president. At 18 years old, I was a special assistant to the president. And my father had just been killed serving as a senior police officer, and I was living in the police compound. Right? So all lies. That's why I said never believe anything these people say. I just sent you I sent you 2 tapes. I sent you the recording of that the government released showing what happened at my house. They said the man stood 100 feet away across the street. That's what the statement says. You can see him crossing the street coming to my house in my yard. That's number 1. 2, they said that I accepted service. You see me looking at it. I didn't have all my contacts. I didn't see what it was. I just saw the man pushing something in my face. I looked at it when I couldn't disaster leave my yard. He then dropped it on the stairs. The FBI came and seized it. It means that there's a crime, right? The NYPD officers that came on the scene said to me it was international terrorism. They came with a gun and they came with some document. In addition to that, and this is how dangerous these people are, when we criticize the dealership for robbing people and call on them to repay people, give back people their money, a news site in America that publishes my writing, sometimes publishes my writing, had published a story based on the post we made on CGID about them robbing people. The dealership then called 2 journalists and asked them to hack into the site and take down the story. They paid them some money, $50,000 or something like that. When the people couldn't hack into the site, they called police and said, or they conspired with the police and say, the men tried to extort money from them and Burke sent them, right? The Attorney General, in his letter to the FBI in response to him being notified that they're under investigation, if you see that statement there, he said, I am the mastermind of an extortion plot. I sent you a video of the police interviewing the man. And one of the police officers asked the man if he knows me. And the man said, no, he doesn't know me. He's never seen me. Now, after the Attorney General kept lying, a Guyana police force source leaked that video of that police interview with the man to demonstrate that the Attorney General was lying. The man said clearly, Massey, you don't know Rickford Burke, he never spoke to him. How can then the Attorney General of Guyana write to the FBI and lie and said, the man said that I was the mastermind of an extortion plot and I sent him to these people. I don't know the man, never see the man in my life, don't know who he is. So they're dangerous. And it's the same thing they're doing with Paul Sloan. But I sent you the two videos. I saw you just play the video with them going to my house.
So this video here, walk me through this video here. What's happening here?
So you can see him coming out of a car. He's now, he's coming out of a car there, his gloves dropped, right? You'll see him walk across the street into my yard. Look him walking across the street there.
Okay.
He's walking towards my house right now. The other one run up my step a long time ago.
Right.
Look,
so
he's going up in my yard.
That's the process over in the front there?
I guess that's what they say. I don't know who that is. But I know he had a gun. And
did he pull out the gun? Did he touch the gun?
No, he had the gun was being displayed. So you can see me there trying to figure out who he is, what he's doing or whatever. Then I just turned around. You can hear the audio where he said, I will leave this right here. You see, he then put him on my steps. And I walk away. He's now harassing me, walking behind me, taping me. Right? And we drove off. But the Attorney General, in his letter to the FBI, said that the man was standing across the street and that I accepted service.
Yeah, that's what it was said here. It said Burke accepted service of the document from the said licensed legal process server on the stairs of his premises in Brooklyn, New York, and the entire process was video recorded by the police officer from the Guyana Police Force, who was standing 100 feet away across the street from Burke's premises. He said that the said legal proceeding are still pending before the court of Guyana.
So there you go. You just proved the Attorney General to be a liar. Later on in that statement, you can hear him. You can say you could read where he said some witness said, and he called the man's name, or I think but the issue is him saying the man said, I sent him there. And if you listen to the tape, which the police leaked to me, the man said, they asked the man, this Burke, do you know Burke? And the man said, no, I've never spoken to him. I don't know the man.
Right. Okay.
So what they're trying to do is make up stuff to get the U.S. to act. And there should be serious consequences. I believe the Attorney General's United States visa should be revoked, or the next time he comes to the United States, he should be arrested. He should be arrested. The 71st Precinct is already conducting an investigation of him for advocating for me to be killed. And now he's deliberately lying to the FBI. And we can't do that in the United States. Anybody lie to the FBI will go to jail. So why shouldn't he go to jail?
Right. Again, back to the announcement of plans of the government to update the country's cybercrime legislation. Nanlal said that the abuse of freedom of speech will not be condoned. So I guess the framework is that if you are, whether locally in Guyana or outside of Guyana, you cannot use the internet.
Junior, that is poppycock. It is hogwash. The East Indians in Guyana, who are in the government, their wishes don't take precedent over the United States Constitution. The United States Constitution guarantees free speech. That's it. So my recommendation to any Guyanese is, or to any person in the United States, you do not have to listen to those fools. You follow the law in the United States where you live. Let them tell the people in Guyana they don't have freedom of speech. And Junior, freedom of speech works both ways. They could attack Black people and call us all sorts of names. They call me criminal. I've never been arrested. They call Paul Slow criminal. Every Thursday, the vice president of Guyana calls a press conference and says the most nasty, vile, false, malicious, libelous, defamatory things about Black leaders, including me. He says I'm a criminal. And the United States government and elected officials must not associate with me because I'm a criminal. Well, he taught me in school. And I guess if I'm a criminal, he taught me well because he's the biggest criminal guy I ever produced.
Okay. I don't want to get a libel suit here.
You can't get a libel suit for that.
Also well. Mr. So, we're going to open up the phone lines right now. We're going to open up the phone lines. Because there's a lot to talk about, a lot to digest right here. So the phone number that you call, if you want to get in on this conversation, is 718-701-5720. You could call on WhatsApp or you could call straight. The number again is 718-701-5720. We're speaking here with Mr. Rickford Burke and Mr. Paul Slow about this ongoing allegations by the Caribbean Guyanese
Institute for Democracy,
and the PPP Civic of Guyana. This has been going on for quite a long time, and we're really trying to really get a full understanding. We will, in the next couple days or so, try to get a response from the government of Guyana. So if any member of the government of Guyana is watching, and I'm sure, here on Ride Along Live, we say everyone have a story to tell. We want to hear your feedback on what was said here today. So we open up the phone lines in a quick second. Let's take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we got your calls live. Don't move. We'll be right back.
Pick yourself up with Ride Rent a e-bike today and take advantage of the smartest and coolest way to get around. Rental starting for only $30 per hour and less than $100 EC per day. Zip through traffic, save money, and look awesome doing it. Check us out at the Esplanade Mall today. Visit us online at ridersebike.com or give us a call at 473-422-1011. Your wallet and the planet will thank you. Ride Rent a e-bike.
And we are back, and I want to tell you guys quickly, if you ever in Grenada and you want a rental car, you're looking for a rental, you can call Ride Rental, and the information I'm going to put at the bottom of the screen. Get a rental right here at Ride. Number you can call is 473-422-1011. That's 473-422-1011. Back into the conversation here with Mr. Rickford Burke and Mr. Paul Slow. So, Mr. Slow, let's talk about what is the goal, what is the aim of speaking out about this. And I know Mr. Rickford Burke protesting on Eastern Parkway. What are you looking to achieve after all of this is said and done?
Well, my aim is to inform the public that what is going on, because if you were to follow the government-controlled media, one will never know what is going on. They try to paint this picture that everything is rosy, when it is not. I don't deal with the politics. I deal in law enforcement. As I've said, I spent a number of years in law enforcement, and I understand and I know what law enforcement is all about. And having served for all this time, for 37 years, it grieves me to see what is happening in the country that I was born and that I love. We talk about the corruption before. One of the things that we did not mention is, we alluded to it, is the weaponization of the police force. The force is controlled by the government and weaponized to go after people like myself who are considered to be social media influencers. Let me give another example, one example. As I said, I was a chairman of the Police Service Commission, and I explained the conversation with me and the president when he wanted some people promoted. When he did not get his way, they weaponized the police force to come after me and to charge me and other retired police officers for conspiracy to commit fraud. I was abroad at the time. When I returned to face the charge, before I go there, I was abroad. I returned to Guyana because a summons was issued for me to return on the 15th of October 2021. I voluntarily traveled from the US to go. When I turned up in the court compound, 4 officers from the Special Organized Crime Unit of the Guyana Police Force are there to arrest me for the same charge that they summoned me to attend, and I am there in the courtyard to attend. They are arresting me for the same charge. Can you imagine that? And it's just weaponization. They're trying to embarrass you, me in particular. The same officer, one of the same officer who was in charge there, guy by the name of Romana, he later arrested a lawyer, Tamika Clark, for advising our client not to give a statement to the police. He arrested her. So that is the type of incompetence, that is the type of corruption that we have going on. And I should have said, the officer acted so improperly, so criminally. And what happened? He's promoted. He's not sanctioned, he's promoted. He was sued, he went to court, and of course, the judge ruled against him, and his estate has to pay because they were saying that he's acting in the performance of his duty. The state has to pay. And to speak about this cybercrime thing that you're talking about, that too is weaponized. And I must say, the cybercrime law was passed under the previous administration. No one was ever charged with it. Of course, they were advised that some of the provisions were so broad that it
unconstitutional,
unconstitutional, and that is exactly what happened. So, all right, you're talking about people libeling you and people slandering you. Well, then take them to court. That should be a civil matter. That is not a criminal matter. We have a case where another talk show host, who is also a member of parliament, Sherrod Duncan, called a man a trench crapper. He's referred to a man as a trench crapper. And he's charged criminally with that. He's charged criminally. He got out, of course. You have a case where a member of parliament, Ferguson, made a statement against the chief of staff, the current chief of staff of the Guyana Defense Force. He made a report that they think, according to them, he became traumatized by this statement. Criminal charge against the member of parliament under the Cybercrime Act. So there's no doubt that this thing is being abused. And the very Attorney General, I had the news article somewhere around, said about 2 years ago, because when they were in opposition, they opposed the Cybercrime Act. They opposed the act because they said it was unconstitutional. And he said about 2 years ago that the act would be repealed and replaced with some modern act pattern after some legislation from the United Nations. They never did that. They never did that. Now he's talking about people should not be able to libel. I agree. No one should be able to libel or slander someone, but that should not be criminalized. That should be a case where the affected person can go to the court, into the civil court, and get damages awarded against the person for the libelous or the slanderous statement.
Right. Let's go to the phone line. We got a caller on the line. Caller, live, where are you calling us from? Hello, caller? All right, let me see. Hello, caller?
Yes, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I am hearing you. Go speak again. All right, I want to put you up on the speaker. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead. I want to put you up on speaker.
I am calling from Guyana.
Guyana, go right ahead. Me? Yes, I'm hearing you. Go right ahead, Guyana.
Okay. Lovely, interesting program. I just want to say thank you for giving Mr. Burke and Mr. Slow a voice. They are our voice. Discrimination, my Caribbean brother, is real in Guyana. I don't know if Rickford and Mr. Slow will go into it, but they have cut funding from EPADG, which is an organization that addresses social and other needs of Black people. The government is giving out cash grants selectively. Look at the town of Linden that is controlled by a PNC council, and it's predominantly Afro-Guyanese. They are trampling on the elected mayor and the town council. Right? In Georgetown, if you are to pay Guyana a visit in an oil-rich economy, the city stinks. You know why the city stinks? Because the councillors and the mayor of Georgetown comes from the opposition. And so we depend on Rick Ford. We depend on Mr. Slow because we cannot speak. First of all, you're going to lose your job. Secondly, they're going to come banging on your door to charge you under the cybercrime law, like they did MP Sherrod Duncan for calling somebody a trench crapper. Imagine our vice president goes on national television every Thursday, and he has the audacity of calling a sitting MP a lowlife. And when she filed a case in court, he said he will defend it right up to the CCJ. He goes on national television and call MP Coretta McDonald the vilest of names because she led the GTU in a strike. And so we depend on our brothers in the diaspora because we cannot speak. And the struggle is real. Discrimination is at a level like it never happened before. And so programs like this give us the voiceless a voice. And I thank you, and I thank Rick Ford and Mr. Slow and the other persons like Melly Mel and Ben Scott and those in the diaspora. And I know these programs will go a far way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. As we say here on Ride Along Live, we believe that everyone have a story to tell. And as much as we have to, and I did, I'm listening to the story on what the allegations of Mr. Rickford Burke and Mr. Slow, we still do give the opportunity to the other side to give their points of view as well. That's how we do it here. We keep it wide open to keep the conversation going. Rickford, what, any word? Yeah,
Person does not investigate complaints from Black political leaders. They do not. You had at least 3 MPs that filed cybercrime complaints against East Indian members of the government.
Right.
Never arrested, never any investigation. One of them is the shadow foreign minister, Amansa Walton Nazir MP, where she was abused by a member of parliament. You have a male member of parliament from the ruling party that physically hit, committed violence against a female member of the opposition. Nothing happened. Over and over again, Simona Brooms filed, a former minister of the government, Afro-Guyanese, filed cybercrime complaints. The Guyana police force does not investigate cybercrime complaints from Black people. Second, 2 death threats against me are currently on the social media of the president of Guyana, the president. We wrote the police commissioner pointing that out. It was never removed. On the Guyana Police Force website, they issued a wanted bulletin for me for whatever reason, right? And someone went on that website and said, he is offering $1 million for someone to cut off my head and bring it to Guyana. And the senior man said that. And we wrote the Guyana Police Force. They refused to remove it. An East Indian young man, he's about 17 years old. He said his name is Imran. He went on Facebook and called for every Black person in Guyana to be killed. First he said, poison them, then he said, cut off their head, right? And the government of Guyana, all they did is ask him to apologize. If a Black person does that, they'll be in jail forever. So as the woman said, discrimination is real. And I want the people in Grenada to understand that Guyana is at the point where it's either going to disintegrate or Black people would go back in slavery. The voices of the people of the Caribbean are important. In Jamaica, in Barbados, in Grenada, in Dominica, Black people in Guyana are under siege by a racist ethnocracy that believe in East Indian supremacy. And even the East Indians who associate with us or are from the opposition, they're attacking them. And they're not attacking them for their political views. They're attacking them because they're associating with Black people.
Okay. Rickford, it's heartbreaking to hear all of this, right? But let me tell you from what I know. And again, my perception of this could be fully different and contrast to what you are going through there. Here's what I see, and here's what I know, right? Guyana is a friend of Grenada, have been a friend of Grenada, especially recently we had Hurricane Beryl. Guyana was one of the first countries to give so many assistance, boats load of assistance to Carriacou. They have, right now as we speak, there are crews of Guyanese that are on the island helping rebuild back Carriacou and Petit Martinique. So when you say racist, I hear you, but how could they be racist and then they are so much in support of assistance?
They are nice to African people outside of Guyana. When they come to New York, they kill themselves to take out pictures with the black people. Go and look at the Facebook page of the president. All he wanted to do was to meet Hakeem Jeffries, so he could pick up a picture and put and say, yeah, we love black people. You want to meet Sheila Jackson Lee. They want to meet these black people. They are nice to black people outside of Guyana because they want to create international facade that they're biased, that they're not biased. But let me say this. Go on the website of the National Procurement Board. I did a study, Nigel Hughes did a study. 90% of all government contracts go to East Indians. 90. Some of them never been a contract in their life. They're getting billion-dollar contracts. You have a young man who they pay to come on social media by the name of Mikhail Rodriguez. They call him Guyanese critics. He comes on social media and attack every black political leader in Guyana and in the diaspora. He has never been arrested for cybercrime. But you know what? He just got $2 billion contracts. 2 separate contracts, $1 billion each. Why? That's his payment for attacking black people. 90% of all contracts go to East Indians. Why? Is that racism? You mean to tell me that they ain't got black people who know how to dig a drain or build a house or build a school? When we start to talk about it, then they give 1 and 2 black people. One black contractor, they give a school to build in Linden. That's fine. He's an Afro-Guyanese. I'll support them, right? But the other that they run and give contracts to, do you know what the contracts were for? To clean the drains. Clean the drains. That's what they have turned black people into. Clean drains. Get them $3 million, go and clean the drain. In the meantime, their East Indian friend, Mr. Pasad or Mr. Singh, from wherever, gets a $4 billion contract or a $240 million contract to build a school or whatever. And then when he gets that contract, he has to now go and hire a real contractor to build the school. And as the word in the street is, he allegedly got to give them back half of that money. Right? Somebody gets a kickback. And don't listen to me. Yeah. The United States government issued a report sanctioning the permanent secretary in the Ministry of National Security. Her visa was revoked. She was stopped at the airport. Her visa was revoked. And then she was sanctioned for bribery and corruption. And she is a leading central executive member of the People's Progressive Party, which is the ruling party in government. In addition to that, one of their councillors, Mr. Mohammed, Shell Mohammed, he's a councillor, so he's going to be like a member of the city council, but not the city council, it's a local democratic council. In, let's say, the parish council for St. Andrews, he's a member of that council. He was also sanctioned. He was sanctioned by the US government. So here you have 2 leading members of the People's Progressive Party being sanctioned by the United States government. And you know what's the government response? Please send us your evidence. The US government didn't send them any evidence. They want the evidence so that they could go and kill the informants or the persons who give the information to the US. They're not interested in investigating the crime because what? The US government got the information and the evidence from right in Guyana.
Right.
So why are you asking the US a continent away to give you evidence of criminal activity in your government when you right there and you could investigate and get it? But they're not interested in solving crimes. They're interested in eliminating sources. that are leaking information to people like me and the US government and Paul Slow.
All right, let's go back to the phone. We got a caller on the line. Caller, where are you calling us from? Caller? All right, I'm going to take you on speakerphone again. Stand by. Caller, go right ahead.
Okay. Yes, sir. Good evening. I'm calling from Guyana.
Yes, go right ahead.
The program is very educational at this stage. Yes, sir. You hear me clear now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you clear. Go right ahead.
Okay, sir. I respect the program, and it's educational. And I would say what is being spoken by Mr. Burke and Mr. Slow is the absolute truth, and we are standing firm with them. And as a host, you're dear. You may not understand.
Yes. No, I understand. No.
Live here.
Yes,
to
true.
Endure.
Yes.
You have to live here to endure what it is. And
Yes.
the truth of the matter is, everything that they have said is factual, and we're standing with them 1,000%.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, caller. I don't want to belittle the point and say that this is not going on. I don't want people to get the impression that I'm saying, no, this is not happening, right? I don't live in Guyana. I visited Guyana 5 times in my life. I love the place, right? What I'm saying is that the perception that we see outside is far different than what we're hearing. But that doesn't mean that I am saying that what Mr. Rickford Burke and the people of Guyana feels is wrong, right? That's my point of view. So I want you guys to get it straight. I'm not saying that it didn't happen or it's not happening. I'm just saying the perception that has been felt outside is not that. What they said.
You ever heard of Animal Farm or see what the Russians do?
Who feels
that's what's going on in Guyana.
Who feels it knows it, as they say. Who feels it knows it. Rickford, I asked Mr. Slow earlier what he wants to see happen from here. You've been very public in advocating. You've been out on Eastern Parkway. What do you want to see happen?
I want to see a change in U.S. foreign policy in Guyana towards this government. I want to see the government sanctioned for its atrocities. The United Nations has called for an investigation. When Barjagli was president, they killed over 1,400 young black men. There's never been an investigation. These people have killed out black people with impunity, and it boils my blood because I am black. I'm black from top to bottom, unapologetically. I advocate for the rights of everybody, all of the citizens of the world, all of the races in Guyana. But you see, black people, we are disadvantaged throughout the world, and it is a consequence of slavery. Our foreparents went to Guyana and built Guyana. The people that support the People's Progressive Party, I have nothing against them. But they came to Guyana and met black people. And these people have a unexplained hatred for us. An unexplained hatred for black people, for Afro-Guyanese, African Guyanese, who built that country. The slaves dig those trenches and drains and built those buildings with their blood, sweat, and tears. We are their descendants, and these people want to displace us. They use all of the oil resources for the benefit of their own ethnic collective, East Indian people. They dash a couple of things at some black villages and so on. I dare anyone in the PP government to dispute what I'm saying. You go on the ground. You know what they did, Junior, to black people in Maka? I'm going to try to send the video to you. The slaves bought Maka. It is a slave ancestral village. They wanted to build a road that passed through the back of Maka. But they realized that once that road is constructed, the lands there would be prime lands. So they concocted a scheme that the road is going to pass through a certain area in Maka called KNView. But the road was never passing through KNView. And you know, they asked the people to move. Some of the people didn't move. They sent police and bulldozers, and they bulldozed those people's homes with their furnishings and their documents. They killed the people's livestock and buried it. They dragged black women and children through the mud. They have no respect for black people, my brother. I want the people in the Caribbean to know this. This government, it is an ethnocracy. It is the equivalent of the South African apartheid government. And one morning, the Caribbean will wake up and see unpredictable and unprecedented disaster in Guyana when the people stand up for their rights.
Yeah, let me just address something that I had this up on the screen there, and I think you should address it because you know me better than this person right there, saying about I'm leaning to the opposition direction because the PPP government is giving me some kind of handout of some sort. That is the dumbest statement of the night. I don't know where this jackass came from.
When you're a journalist, you have to be biased. So you have to be unbiased or balanced. So that's the only thing I'll say.
So me asking the question somehow got into this person's brain that I'm somewhat leading to the PPP because I'm getting some handout.
Junior, I'm going to back up what I just said with a video. You can talk to Mr. Slow in the meantime.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you that video of them breaking down the homes of these people. And you know what? The road has been built. And the road is no way passing through KNView. Now, they're giving out the lands at KNView to rich East Indian businessmen. Let anybody challenge me on that. And one day you should talk to Nima Flubest, who's a member of parliament for that area. And let her tell you. I'm going to look right now and send you the video of them breaking down the homes of those people and dragging the women through the mud to get them out of their homes so they could break it down to give it to East Indian people.
Mr. Slow, listen, I think we may have to have a part 2 of this, because I have a feeling, just a feeling, that this could go on for quite a long period of time. And I do have a dead stop in about 10 minutes. So we have to crunch our conversation down a bit. Mr. Slow, what do you want to add to the discussion here now?
Well, I want to give another example when we're talking about the cybercrime law being weaponized against a particular section of people. I referenced earlier, I went to court on the 15th of October, 2021, to answer this charge. Really were they trying to arrest me. On the same day, 15th of October 2021, I went to the Breakdown Police Station, which is the major police station in Georgetown, and made a report. I was accompanied by my lawyer, Mr. Selwyn Peters from Canada, and another colleague of mine, retired Assistant Commissioner Conway. And I made a report to the police about the same Attorney General on the national television on the 29th of June 2021. He went there and he said, he threatened me on the program. He said that people like me have no place in a society governed by the rule of law. And I consider that a threat. I went to the police, made a report, provided them with a statement, provided them with the transcript of that program, and until today, nothing has happened. So when we say that this Cybercrime Act is being used to target people who are making statements that the government is uncomfortable with, the evidence is there. You can't make these things up. The evidence is there. So somebody, the first caller told you, every Thursday, you go on the television, national television, where the vice president has a press conference. He called people all kind of names. He lies repeatedly on that program. And I have been calling them out because when he tells the lies, I will put up the evidence to show that he's lying. So for that, I am being targeted. And look, this thing goes a long way back. And as you rightly suggest, maybe we'll need to have another program where he can tell you about some of the atrocities committed against me. They have targeted me for a long time. Criminal charges, civil charges, and all that they have done. These charges that we referenced earlier, instituted in May 2021, and to date, you can't even get to the trial. You cannot even get, because what they want to do, they want to make sure that you are ruined financially. They drag your reputation and your through the mud to cause you psychological and other pain. That is their aim. That is the aim, clear as daylight.
Right. Rickford, I saw you sent the video.
Please, yes. No comments needed. Just play the video.
Yeah, I'm trying to ingest it into the system, which is going to take a quick little second. Before we do that, guys, again, you're watching Right Along Live, I must say. And lengthy discussion here today. Let's see if I could get this video on full screen so we could put it up on the live. Stand by, guys. All right, so I do have it. All right, volume, audio, screen, and play.
Arrested while angry residents threw bricks, bottles, and flammable.
Hold on, let me fix that. Stand by, let me fix that audio. Yes. Live television. That's what happens sometimes when you get unexpected things like this. Okay, got it. Audio in. All right, good. Audio.
This was a scene at KNV Moko Arcade today as the Ministry of Housing, accompanied by members of the riot squad of the Guyana Police Force, moved to demolish the structures occupied by squatters who failed to accept the compensation offered by the government. The Housing Ministry said the land on which the persons are on form part of the construction of the Eccles to Great Diamond Highway. Shots were fired by the police and persons were arrested, while angry residents threw bricks, bottles, and flammable objects at the police. At one point, the excavator caught fire.
What did they do? Like, me want to talk no more, man. It does everything damaged. Them telling me for coming one by one. Them saying that we house ward. In these hard times, where you can pay 6 million or 5 million or 2 million for these things they know. Then what's expensive? Nails expensive. Board expensive. Everything gone high. We bed broke up. Everything broke up. What I sleep? I need funny. Then the rain wet me up. If I take I the road. I'm a homeless girl now. Now I'm a homeless girl.
And this is totally wrong what the people doing. This is totally wrong. These people need to give we justice. 20-something years now we family live over here, boss. Actually 30 years now. Where we going?
The area was surrounded by the police and housing officials who were executing the exercise. They first started by removing the bridge and then this house and business place. The owner was standing her ground against the demolition when she was arrested and dragged through the mud by the police. For several minutes, she and the police wrestled until she decided to go. Moments later, her house came crashing down. The operator did not stop there. He destroyed all the beverages and other items the woman had for sale. Some were covered by the debris. By this time, some squatters started to remove their household, livestock, and other items. Opposition leader Orby Norton arrived on the scene and tried to reason with the police and the housing officials.
Why can't they meet in a civilized way?
Things got heated as the exercise continued, with residents pelting the police who returned fire. Opposition MP Roysdale Ford, Coretta MacDonald and other MPs were on hand to see the destruction.
What we see happening here is transgression to the max, oppression to the max. And I'm saying people will have to stand up at some point for their rights because we cannot allow history to keep repeating itself.
There's more than just a possibility. I believe that there's a high probability that legal proceedings will have to be instituted by the people who would have been suffering, by the families who have been suffering this sort of demolition and complete destruction to the property. And it's just simply beyond that level. I believe that serious questions have been raised and we will examine them. We're in the process of gathering a number of pieces of information and documents that go towards the legal ownership of this land as to who actually owns it, whether this is in fact land for which the government, even if they want to build a road, it should be subject to the Constitution, should be subject to the payment of compensation to persons who are the owners of this land. So we are currently in the process of examining those issues, and we will definitely be instituting proceedings if it is found that it is necessary to do so. But in my view, having regard to what I've seen here, what I've learned over the last couple of days, this is a serious case that will require some degree of legal representation on the part of these people who suffered, and you see what's happening, complete destruction to their livelihood. But this is a complete demolition to their lives. I believe it is extremely insensitive. When it occurred in Linden, when it occurs in other parts of the country, it is against the rights of the people, not because that they're squatters in the eyes of the government, not because they can't produce a title to property. This is completely against the law. They have no right to demolish homes, especially to demolish homes in the manner in which they're doing. This reminds us of the situation in apartheid South Africa, the demolition of homes and communities. And the government here would have signed all sorts of treaties. I don't know whether they don't read them, whether they don't pay attention to them in terms of the rights of people and the rights of persons to live, even in homes that are not necessarily on legal land owned by them.
This is what is left of the houses when the exercise was completed, as persons contemplate their next move and start all over again. Many of those whose houses were demolished lived on the land between 16 to 30 years.
Yeah, so I was saying that very sad. Record, what happened to the people that was displaced?
Well, the matter is in court. The fact of the matter is that they've out of their homes, their cattle were destroyed. They took that excavator and beat pigs and cows and so on in their head and killed them and buried them. That's evil. That's not government trying to get a land through eminent domain for people for development. That's evil perpetrated against Black people. And I'm surprised there wasn't a riot. I'm not calling for one. I'm surprised there wasn't a riot. That can happen in Grenada. That can happen in Jamaica. But them people in that government of Guyana, they is past Black people, as we say, meaning they don't have no respect for Black people. And they have used, you see how they use the Guyana police force? They shot at people. There's a law in Guyana that says if you are on a property for more than 10 years and you've upkept it, you're entitled to prescriptive rights to that property. Second, the ownership of the land is in dispute. The people of Maka said that the land was given to them by the slaves. Another school of thought is that the land was given to the residents by Gaisuko, the former sugarcane industry management company, for farming. It doesn't matter, Julia. It was a deceptive move. The road has now been completed, and the road is nowhere close to Cairnview. In addition to that, they have now given people properties, land, who have constructed buildings 20 feet away from the road, way in front of Cairnview. The question must be asked, why they did that to those Black people? I know the answer, so as to give it to rich East Indian people. And let me say lastly before I shut up. The over 1,500 people, and you can Google it, that were killed by death squads allegedly formed by Jagdev's government. And we know it is true because the Minister of National Security was caught communicating with the death squad just before they killed somebody and after. And the US government sanctioned him and demanded that he be removed from the government. So it's not allegations. It is true. They formed death squads that killed several hundred people, Black people. The United Nations this year followed our lead and called for an investigation. The government promised that there'll be an investigation. They never will. Jagdev plays a game. If we investigate that, it therefore means we can also investigate some East Indian people who were killed. We don't care. Anybody who was killed, there must be an investigation. But they play a game because they believe Black lives are expendable. Black lives matter. And I want the rest of the Caribbean to understand that Black lives in Guyana matter. Right. And it will only matter to this government if the entire Caribbean region joins the Afro-Guyanese population in Guyana and stand up, just like the slaves around the Caribbean stood up and fought for the abolition of slavery together.
Yeah. Let's take a call. We got a caller on the line right now. Calls are coming in fast and furious. Caller, you live?
Yes, yes. I'd just like to contribute. Yes, I'm calling from St. Lucia.
St. Lucia, go right ahead.
I'd like to contribute to contribute to the discussion, because what I'm hearing here is a replay of an old track that is at least 50 years old. The issue of race in Guyana and ethnicity is one that is as old as the history of Guyana itself. And for the speaker and others like him to conveniently engage in the sort of misrepresentation based on partisan and as well as racial allegations in the coarse way in which it is done, that only works with people, unfortunately, who historically throughout the Caribbean and in the Caribbean diaspora, who do not have a grasp of the actual history of Guyana in an independent way. When we talk about to talk about this administration being one that can be accused of electoral and other political mischief, there is no other party than those that lead the opposition in Guyana today that have engaged. They have written the book on electoral malfunctioning. They have practiced up until 2020, when the government of Guyana at the time kidnapped the electoral machinery and actually refused to accept the results. To have results being displayed to the press on bed sheets, to the extent that the Caribbean Court of Justice had to intervene after 5 months.
Caller, I don't want to rush you, but you have to kind of hurry up a bit, because we have a lot of calls and we have a lot of time.
Yes, I want to conclude. I'll conclude in 1 minute, and that is to say that Guyana today is in a position where it can do without that sort of pulling down from within and from without by Guyanese at home and abroad. Guyana is just about to, in fact, Guyana has seen its GDP ready to grow by 49.7% in the second half of this year. And therefore, what we need to be able to do is to come to Guyana's assistance and support what it has not gotten over decades in a situation and at a time when Guyana is the fastest growing economy in the world that can help all of CARICOM, that can be a great deal of benefit to South and South development.
Thank you so much.
And we must really stop.
Thank you so much,
we must really get off that crap.
Thank you so much, Lucia. We appreciate you. Your call. Back to the phone lines again. Got another caller on the line. Caller, you're live. Please be brief with your comments. Caller, go right ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I was listening to this here. I just wanted to say that Rickford Burke completely is sitting here and misrepresenting.
Okay.
Those people, that video that he sent you of those people in Mocha, the government had engaged them since 2021, going into 2022, going into 2023. The government offered them land for land that they didn't own. The government offered them compensation, help to move. Rickford Burke is wanted in Guyana for fraud. So he's sitting here. Paul Slow is also before the courts with rape allegations. So these two should be the last two sitting here misrepresenting what the government did. I think Paul Slow or Rickford Burke implore the government to do more in these Afro-Guyanese communities. They did nothing, Mr. Ride-Along host. They did nothing. And for Rickford Burke, too, my last point, to make any insinuation that the government is trying to assassinate him is a complete waste of time. Because nobody listens to Rickford Burke. Only the same persons, Hakeem Jeffries, and all these people that he purports to know. All those people were at the parade. They hung around at the Nomad Band. They took photos with all these terrible ministers that he's talking about. He doesn't tell you about David Patterson and the scales that that were never delivered to Guyana but were paid for. He never tells you about the unsolicited bid that was taken to the cabinet by his counterparts in the opposition. He doesn't tell you about the former Minister of Telecommunications who was writing checks to her own company from her own ministry and taking $2 million with her every time she goes on an outreach. He doesn't tell you about Joseph Harmon and all the nonsense he did. He doesn't tell you about Amna Ali and all the tickets they took the government money to buy. More so, he doesn't tell you that the PNC currently owes $6.7 billion in taxes to City Hall, and they are refusing to pay the money. This lady that you have on the screen right now, Coretta McDonald, she is illegally sitting as the General Secretary of the GTU and a member of Parliament against her constitution.
Junior, why doesn't he state his name so we could sue him? He should state his name.
Exactly.
Hold on. Caller, take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath, because you haven't breathed for like about a good 5 minutes.
As a Guyanese, sir, it upsets me to hear these two persons.
No, let me.
Hold on. A conversation is you speak, they listen, and we speak back and forth. You exhale a whole lot. Let us say something, and then get your point of view. Rickford.
Let me hear what they got.
Let me get an opportunity, please, to respond, because he has made some false allegations against.
Are you not in
As Rickford said, he should call his name so I could sue him. I have never been charged with any rape. No, and that is a line to malign that the police and the government.
Hold on.
Junior, can I say something? The government has put him to call you to disrupt the whole program. I think you should cut him off.
Let me say this, Junior.
He doesn't like to hear the truth, Junior.
Hold on. Go ahead, Paul.
No, and that is a plan of the government. He is just put forward there to bring this false allegation. Let me tell you what the allegation is against me. First, conspiracy to commit fraud, along with some other former and serving members of the force, where we were charged with conspiracy. That matter was tried and dismissed on the 27th of December last year.
I said
the other allegation is that is what they call sexual assault. And here what the facts are. A policewoman said that during the course of a meeting, I rubbed her legs on 3 occasions. That was said to be done on the 26th, the 29th, and the 2nd of April 2019. The allegation was made on the 14th of April 2021. I was charged with those matters and appeared before court on the first time on the 19th of May 2021. The matters have not been even gotten to trial as yet. But he's not going to tell you too that Dharam Lal, one of their ministers and a senior member in the party, was accused credibly of rape on 2 occasions, and nothing has been done. Nothing. He's not going to tell you that. He's not going to tell you that a senior sitting police officer had 2 rape allegations. I'm not talking about sexual assault, but in the Guyanese context, in the Guyanese law, there's a big difference between rape and sexual assault. Rape is sexual penetration. Sexual assault is any touching, as they claim, they allege to happen. So you see, they put him there to come, and that is the line they were putting. They're not telling you the facts. They say sexual assault. And jokers like jackasses like that say, well, sexual assault mean rape. When nothing of the sort was ever alleged. Nothing was ever alleged.
Right. Report your piece.
So
Junior, I'm not sure. I wish he could call his name, but they put him to call. And that's the intent of charging us in Guyana when we live. I haven't gone to Guyana in 25 years, so I'm not sure I commit this fraud. And they have no evidence of that. The U.S. government has asked them for the evidence. They have no evidence. They just have a man, the Attorney General, and the police saying something. And I just sent you a tape of the person they're saying I was involved in something, saying he doesn't know me. But that's the intent, right? They want to create this false impression in the United States that we are criminals, so we mustn't be listened to. You see who he jumps to? Straight to Hakeem Jeffries. Oh, Hakeem Jeffries took out a picture with the ministers. The ministers sent somebody to ask Hakeem Jeffries for a photograph. I was there. So it doesn't matter what picture they took out. He just said to you that I lied to you, Junior. I made no comment about the people of Mukah. All I said, they went in there and they broke down the people's homes. I don't care how much notice they give them. The people said That was their home, and the government chose to break it down. The whole world just saw the video. I need not comment. This is some house slave who is acting like a slave catcher on behalf of the government. No, Junior.
But you doing what exactly what we shouldn't. So it's racist.
But listen, this is what happens. They pay some Afro-Guyanese to come and do exactly what he's doing. He's paid to do that. Ask him to identify himself. I'm Rickford Burke. I'm proud to say who I am. Who's he?
Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Could
I say something, please?
Go ahead.
No, what Mr. Rickford Burke is saying to you is completely untrue.
Junior, ask him who he is. If he wants to refute what I'm saying, we should know who he is. He knows who I am.
What's your name? So what's your name? What's your name? You care to disclose your name?
No, I don't.
Well, exactly. Get out of here. Get out of here. We don't want to hear you. Get out of here.
You're making allegations and you're not.
Exactly. Get out of here.
You have to identify yourself.
He's a coward.
Identifying yourself. So
you're a PPP coward. Get out of here.
If he gives a name, he's going to give some false name.
Are you willing to identify yourself?
Get out of here.
Carl, are you willing to identify yourself? No. Okay, he's not willing to.
You run and gun. That's what I tell you. If you're speaking the truth, what prevents you from saying who you are?
Right. But you know, Junior, let me say this, and you know, I'm in a sense, I'm happy that he comes forward because that is what they have been doing all the time. If you go on social media, they refer to me as all kind of names. They hide under all type of pseudonyms because they are cowards. They are cowards, and that is why I say to you and I say to the audience, go on my page, speaking out, exposing corruption and incompetence. On Facebook and on YouTube, are you gonna see? And that is why I keep putting the facts there, because they are painting a picture, and if you don't counter it, then they go away. I must say, the government, they're painting this thing that you're a criminal, you committed fraud, you committed sexual offense. And as I've said, there's a big difference in Guyana's law with sexual offense and rape. So they don't say exactly what the facts are. And as I've said again, the facts are that a police officer, female police officer, alleged that during a meeting that with other people, I rubbed her legs on 3 occasions. That is what the allegation is, made on the 15th of April, 2021. And they said that these incidents are alleged to have been committed on the 26th, the 29th, and the 26th and 29th of March, and the 2nd of April, 2019. And Guyanese know, we don't have time yet to go into it now, but when that allegation was made, that was the time when the government was doing everything to get me off of the Police Service Commission, which the president did by letter on the 16th of June, 2021. And the court, because how did I challenge it, said that it was unlawful, it was unconstitutional, it was ultra-virus, and all kind of description the judge used when he handed down the decision. They wanted to get me off the Police Service Commission because I was not acquiescing to the illegal demands of the president, and therefore they thought the best thing to do is to get me off of the Police Commission, and they contrived and they conspired for all kind of criminal charges and so on. And let me tell you this, because you know, we were charged on the 19th of May, 2021. The very day, even before those who were in Guyana, wasn't in Guyana at the time, before they could go to court, the Prime Minister, Mark Phillips, wrote to myself and another member, Conway, for us to show cause why he should not advise the president to have us removed from the Police Service Commission because we were charged and before the court. So no presumption of innocence. And then about a week after, again, the very Mark Phillips, the Prime Minister, wrote to every member of the Police Service Commission for us to show cause why he should not advise the president to get us off the commission. The president suspended unlawfully the commission on the 16th of June 2021, when the Chief Justice was scheduled to deliver the decision in a challenge on the 18th, 2 days. And let me say this finally before I hand over. When the commission was suspended on the 16th of June 2021, they had 52 days more before the commission life would have automatically ended, constitutionally ended. And the question was always asked, and I continue to ask, why would the president suspend the commission unlawfully, unconstitutionally, when the life of the commission had less than 2 months to go? And people should resort. You see, they come and this is what I will continue to do. I will continue to bring the facts to you. And sensible people, reasonable people will see exactly what it's all about.
Right, right. Oh, hold on, Rickford. Before you go in, Rickford, I have a caller. I have to take this caller. Caller, you live? Where are you calling us from?
Good night, sir. My name is Gavin Matthews, and I'm calling from Guyana.
Thank you, Gavin.
I am
Matthews.
identifying myself.
Thank you so much.
I am saying to you here
yes,
that these two men are misrepresenting what is happening in this country. That same video that you just played, the caller before was right, sir. The government engaged those people. The government asked those people, offer them land, offer them houses, offer them farmland. They did not own that land, sir. They were illegally squatting. I don't, this is the first somebody shared this link with me. I don't know where your show is from, but if in your country, if something is illegal, how can you take illegality and make it legal? They were squatting. The government was building a road. Look, somebody sent me a link. Rickford Burke said the government sent people to shoot him. Well, they should take back the money because the assassin hit nobody in the group. That is madness. They should ask for a refund. And that is to show you how this guy, particularly Rickford Burke, tries to mislead. You hear him call that the caller just now house slave. Is that not racist, sir? Is that not Rickford Burke portraying racism? He's a terrible, terrible man, sir. And I'm saying to you,
that's a different. I know Gavin Matthews. I could tell you.
That's not Gavin Matthews, Junior. That is not Gavin Matthews. We know Gavin Matthews.
Very, very well.
Get out of here. Get out of here, you imposter.
I know Gavin Matthews very well. I can tell you
all I'm asking you, just like how Rickford Burke show you videos, I will send you videos here so you can play on this platform where the government engage those people. Rickford Burke is a racist and he's wanted in this country. You can't enforce the law, Rickford.
Come and get me, brother. Come. But Junior, nobody is disputing whether the government gave them. We just said, look what they did. Whether or not the government engaged them or not. These people were living there for 30 years. The government claimed that they wanted the land to build a road. And I am saying the road has been built. Let them dispute that. The road has been built. And now they're giving the land to East Indian businessmen. At least 2 East Indian businessmen have been given the land. And I will send you video and ask you to bring on the member of parliament for that area who can give you the history of this matter. Right? So nobody's disputing whether the government engaged them. The people are saying the government wanted to give them $5 million for their property to turn $20 million. And let me give you finally. They did the same thing because they wanted to build a bridge, a new Demerara Harbor Bridge, which was passing through Peters Hall. It so happened that some East Indian people live there and some black folks. It's a mixed community. They offered and paid the East Indian man $53 million. And they went and offered the black people $15 million. The man has since given the information to the black people and said that is wrong. And the government has been called out for it. Isn't that racism? So we must sit down and accept the mistreatment. And when we talk about their racism, they conflate our exposure of their racism with actual racism and say that we are condemning East Indian people when we are condemning the racist actions of the government. They can call me all the names they want. And this is their strategy. Charge you in Guyana when you live in another country and come and say, oh, don't listen to him, he's wanted in Guyana for fraud. Let them produce the evidence. The United States government said to them, if this man is wanted for fraud in Guyana, where's the evidence? Up to now, no evidence. But they just did that because they want the platform to come and say, hey, don't listen to Burke, he's wanted for fraud. But you know what? Barak Jagdeo, the vice president of Guyana, was caught on tape, negotiated a $500,000 bribe from alleged Chinese businessmen, but they weren't Chinese businessmen. They were posing as Chinese investors, but they were Vice News reporters. In addition to that, and like I said, the Attorney General was charged with stealing government assets. The current president of Guyana was charged with over 19 fraud charges. He went to every court to have the charges dismissed. And they ruled against him and said there's enough evidence to stand the charge. And he must face the court. You know what? The DPP, when they came into power, dropped the charges. The former Minister of Public Service, Jennifer, not Webster, Jennifer Westford, was charged with almost $1 billion of fraud. Her charges were dismissed. The current Minister of Finance was charged with $400 million fraud. Charges dropped. And next person, Brassington, who's this point person on investment, charged with $400 million fraud. Charges dropped. Listen, the epitome of fraud is them people in the PPP. I challenge them to come and bring to me any evidence where I traveled to Guyana and was involved in fraud and come back to America. Absolute nonsense. They're doing that because they want to scare elected officials from supporting us, from being our friends. It can't work. They have been trying it for the last 5 years since they're in government. And Junior, let me tell you this. Almost every black person who is in politics in Guyana has been charged with a crime. That's their way of curtailing the black leaders in the country. Opposition MPs charged with crime. Guyanese Elections Commission persons charged with crimes. Lawyers charged with crimes. That's their go-to mechanism to curtail black people in the country. And I want to respond to that person from St. Lucia. I'm not from the opposition. I don't give a damn what they think about the opposition, but I can tell you what, don't mislead people from St. Lucia. You don't know the facts, and I believe I know who that is. It's an apologist from the government, who worked with them before. I know his voice. Let me tell you what happened with the last elections. The government of Guyana, the PPP, sorry, it wasn't the government then, they allegedly voted for dead people and persons who were abroad. And they put those ballots in the boxes. And the Elections Commission officials were attempting to eliminate those fraudulently cast votes. And the court ruled that once a ballot is in the box, you can't move it because you don't know what ballot was fraudulently cast. So the Court of Appeal in Guyana upheld what the GCOM did, the Elections Commission did, and the Caribbean Court of Justice overturned it. That's the dispute. That's the dispute. The People's Progressive Party government has always been committing fraud. They voted for the dead people. So now, Junior, I hope the Caribbean Court of Justice can live with their ruling. Because in the next elections, when people put ballots in boxes all over the country, let's see if the Caribbean Court of Justice will review. I'm not saying that's what's planned. I'm saying if the Caribbean Court of Justice can say that once a ballot is in a box, it's valid, then if a ballot is in a box, it's valid. Everybody should do the same thing. That's just my view. Or everybody might think that under the Constitution, they have equal protection. So, or they might question, if one party did the other, why we can't do that? Equal protection under the law.
Right.
So don't misrepresent the facts, sir.
Drink some water. Take a breath.
Yes, man. I'm fired up. Let's go.
Let me take this call, guys. Caller, live, where are you calling us from?
Hello, good night. I'm calling from Guyana.
Guyana. Why am I thinking that this program is going to be discussed on the buses, in the parks, in everyday life tomorrow in Guyana? Everybody in Guyana watching this program.
I would like.
Go right ahead.
First I would like to say good night to you, Junior.
Yes.
And good night to Mr. Rick Burke as well, Paul Slow.
Good night.
I'm going to be neutral in this, right? I'm going to be very neutral in this. I'm going to give you a deep insight about politics.
Go ahead. In a low signal area. Okay, we lost connection with the caller. I didn't cut him off. We lost connection with the caller. All right. Maybe he'll call back. Yeah, Rickford, let Mr. Slow talk a bit. Damn, Rickford. Let's take a breath.
But let me say this. Again, as I said...
hello.
Okay, hold on, Mr. Slow. Sorry, the caller is back. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello.
Caller, go ahead.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
This situation with racism, and it also was like it get indoctrinated into politics, started when Guyana got independence.
Right.
Where there was a split where there was one party, that is the People's Progressive Party, headed by Mr. Burnham and Dr. Jacob. Eventually, there was a split, whereas you get the People's National Congress and the PPP, which was held by Mr. Jacob.
Right.
And the PNC was founded by Mr. Burnham.
Right.
And ever since along from independence in the 60s and these things, both parties, listen to me, both parties have been guilty of racism politics. Now, coming along, all along, straight up from 92 all along, as I said, both parties were guilty of racism politics. Both the PPP were trying to influence the Guyanese Indian, and the PNC party was known also to influence the Afro-Guyanese in Guyana. Over the course of a period of time, people started doing away with racism politics because it doesn't make sense anymore, right?
Right.
The PPP was fully aware of that when they started to last supporters and these things and so on from the 2011 election to the 2015 election. Presently now, and I would like Mr. Bork to give us an answer to this. Why does he address Afro-Guyanese as house slaves? The racism politics of both of these parties in Guyana, the PPP and the PNC, is not working anymore. You have Indians who are farming party, political party, and against the PPP party. For the last 40 years, no Afro-Guyanese has ever farmed a political party. They were all told that they should stick to the PNC party. Now, if you look at the politics in Guyana, the racism politics is actually dying. And from both sides, there are activists who are trying to sustain and continue this racism politics. It wouldn't work anymore.
Right.
And I would like Mr. Burke to tell us, why is it that if Afro-Guyanese decided to be associated with the PPP, why must they be called house slave, soup drinkers, black dogs? This is exactly his words. Now, if Mr. Burke is so concerned about the people in Guyana, democracy, peace in the country, why is he on record holding a rally calling that Georgetown was burned down if the PPP doesn't go? It doesn't happen this way. If Mr. Burke is so concerned about the politics in Guyana, about his Afro-Guyanese brothers, Indian, Amerindian, he should do it in a positive way. Right?
Okay, caller.
Now, Mr. Burke may have some point, Mr. Burke may have some point, Mr. Slow may have some point, but you need to get a government perspective. I am not being for the government or for the opposition.
Junior, ask the caller to send the evidence of me saying Georgetown was burned down. Send it right now.
Hello, I have video with you. I have video.
Send it right now. Send it, please. Send it right now. Send the video right now.
Caller, do you have the video? Do you have the video?
Listen.
No, do you have
listen
the video?
carefully.
No, do you have the video you can send to me?
We have the video. Yes, we have the video. Now listen to me carefully.
Okay.
Mr. Burke, you held rally along with others and calling for Georgetown to burn down.
You're talking nonsense. Send the video. Send it.
You were going to be embarrassed.
Send the video, sir. Send the video. Forget about it. Send the video of me saying that. Don't come here with propaganda. Send it.
I'm going to get the video and I'm going to send
it. Get the video and stop talking. Send it. I challenge you to send it.
Hold on, record. Caller, hold on.
Listen.
Caller, we don't want to time. Send the video for me. I want to play the video. Nice and
you're going to get a video. Definitely you're going to get a video. If Mr. Burke wants to do something politically for his home country, Guyana,
send it to me.
Do it in a peaceful way.
Okay.
And stop calling Afro-Guyanese house slave.
Okay.
Okay, then. You will get the video.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Junior, that's absolute nonsense. Propaganda. Two, I've never said any black person's a dog. That's what the PPP normally says. And I have said house slave. And you know who we call house slaves? Afro-Guyanese who take money from the government to attack us. We call them slave catchers or house slaves because they're playing the role of those people back in slavery. No apologies for that.
All right, let's go back to the caller. Caller, you live? Where are you calling us from? Hello?
Hello, I'm calling from Argentina.
Argentina?
Hello.
Wow, when I tell you we global like that. Argentina,
yes.
How are you doing, Argentina? Go right ahead.
I'm fine. One of the things I'd like to say is Mr. Burke and Mr. Slow is very correct here with what they're saying. But one of the things, since I've been living in Guyana, I would also like to assess is that there needs to be some form of unity in the country there, right? Without the unity, nothing would merge. It would always be, this side is trying to blame the PPP this side is trying to blame the coalition. But at the same time, they both have faults, you know. But we as a people need to address everything at the set time when it happens and stop casting the blame. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Right now, they have current events that is happening. For instance, with the current drug bust. No police was involved. That alone should tell the public, hey, the police is a threat. We cannot trust them, you know. So we as a public people, we can't believe anything that they say. So everything is discreditable for the police force at the moment, but they wouldn't address that. They would still use them to persecute people. They would still use them to go along with the court cases and what's not. But, you know, everything is just the way it is. And certain things like that needs to be addressed. But at the same time, what they're saying is very much so. For instance, contracts versus East Indians versus black Guyanese. Evidently, the Indian people get a lot more contracts. Nothing is wrong, but at the same time, see it for what it is. It may not be racism, but okay, my friend, he's in power now, so he'll get something.
Right.
Fine. But at the same time, the black people, they're suffering.
Right.
It's try to block these guys out. The fact that they try to block these people, go after all of the social media people,
right.
It proves everything that they're saying is right, you know?
Right.
So people need to get up. We're not calling for violence, but Indians and blacks need to hold hands and stand up and show the government, hello,
right.
we as one. You cannot turn us against one another.
Right.
And it's been going on for too long, you know? It's
Right.
been going on for way too long, and that's all.
Okay, caller,
It's
thank you so much.
blatant corruption.
Caller, thank you so much. We have to wrap it up here. But you want to make a final point? Hello? Okay, thank you so much. Wow. All right, guys, listen. We'll take one more call and we have to wrap up, guys. We have to wrap this up. Caller, you're a final caller for tonight. Where are you calling us from?
I am calling from Guyana.
Guyana.
My name is Kwame McCoy. I'm the Minister of Information. I tried getting you on the phone a short while ago.
Yes.
On the basis of the program that you have tonight with two Guyanese making some serious allegations against the government of Guyana. Now, those persons that you have on the program have been known for all their lives as being just anti-PPP. They're anti-PPP. All they do is play in conjunction conjunction with the opposition of our country, the APNU AFC. All they know is the race card. They have worked the race card all their lives, from their involvement in the police force to wherever they have been. They have always exhibited played the race card. Now, there are several serious allegations about the police being used to go after individuals and persons who are not perceived to be members of the PPP or otherwise supportive of us. All inaccurate. I'm an Afro-Guyanese and I've been part of this party and in politics for over 30 years. And there is no time in the history of the People's Progressive Party that we have demonstrated racist tendencies or practice any racism of any sort in of our policies and our programs. And I would love for us, for the discussion to continue if you wish and you had the time. I can answer every single accusations being made against the government of Guyana.
So can we.
Also, and Mr. Conway have traditionally
Mr. Rickford Burke.
No, he's talking about my program.
Burke, sorry.
Okay.
Rickford Burke.
Yeah.
And Mr. Paul Slow
yes.
have traditionally been anti-PPP. And you can ask them all their lives, what have they supported and for what reason
Junior,
in anti-PPP.
Junior, you could ask him,
hold on.
what about the death squad
Our
killings under the
government is
PPP?
a government for all the people of
Junior,
Guyana.
please
Right.
allow
And
me.
you've had
Slow. Hold on a
the
second. Let me finish.
racism,
Can I wrap it up quick?
the
'Cause
racism,
I want to have a little debate here on this because you're the Minister of Information.
very
I'm
much
happy
so.
I'm happy to
Very
have
much
you.
so.
The Minister of
The very
Propaganda.
government that they support, the APNU AFC, have not done anything for black people. The
Okay.
PPP civic government is the government that have done most on everything for all the people, and black people have had
You mean
their best
killing out?
times
You mean
on
killing
the
out 1,500 black people?
All right.
government.
So Mr. Rick
Slaughtering 1,500 black people, Kwame?
Please,
That's what
please
you did
allow
for
me.
black people? You slaughter over 1,500 people? When are we going to have an investigation into the over 1,500 young black men that were killed?
Hold on.
When are we going to have an investigation?
The
Minister of Information,
Sabbath News of Guyana
Honorable
have
Minister of
settled
Information, sir.
that matter in their research. Where
Sabbath
they
News.
The United Nations called for an investigation, and your vice president announced this year that there will be an investigation. When will be the investigation?
Guyanese. Hold on. Kwame,
You
hey,
have dead
Rickford,
people,
Kwame,
you have
hold on.
people who are
Kwame,
alive
Honorable
on that
sir.
list. I can bring two of them onto this program.
Honorable sir, listen,
People who
sir.
are alive
Sir.
were on that list. People
Sir.
who are dead by natural causes.
When will we have an investigation? We don't care what you have to say.
Hold on.
The United Nations called for an investigation, and
Kwame.
your government announced there will be one. When will we have an investigation?
Hold on, everybody, music time. Everybody take a deep breath. My Guyanese friends, drink some water.
Yeah.
I drinking some water here. I drink it.
Remember to
Bring
drink
it back.
some
Bring it
water.
back. Let me have a conversation.
Hold on. However, Kwame, you muted for a quick second. I don't mean to mute you. Sorry, but I just need to get control of this conversation here a bit. We cannot hear each other if we screaming back and forth. Nobody gets any information here, right? We want to share information. Kwame, are you here with us still? Hello?
I am here with you.
Okay.
Very much so.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So if we're having a discussion, it doesn't mean that you have to scream over the next person. You, the Minister of Information, you know how that thing goes. So let us have some constructive conversation. What are you saying, Rickford?
I'm saying since he's on, the United Nations, forget about his opinions on who was killed or whatever. The United Nations this year called for an investigation. Subsequent to that call, the Vice President, Barajagdeo, announced that, and that's since probably 5 months ago, announced that the government will proceed with an investigation. I'm asking him when will there be an investigation? This is my advocacy. One of the things I'm advocating for is, I'm not speaking to you, Kwame, I'm talking to the moderator. Just listen.
For what purpose?
Ask the United Nations, ask Barajagdeo. He announced that there will be an investigation. Barajagdeo, at a press conference, announced that they will follow the United Nations and have an investigation. I'm asking you to say when there will be an investigation. If you don't know, go and ask your vice president. The second thing I want to talk about, Julia, since that he's on here.
Hold on a second. Actually, second question. Let you respond.
He's denying racism. We did a study. CGID did a study. Nigeria Youth did a study of the procurement Commission's allocation of contracts from the government. 90% of the contracts go to East Indians. Now that we have been highlighting this, they are trying to dash some contracts to some Afro-Guyanese, but they're like cleaning trenches and stuff like that. In one and in between, they have some person building a school, etc. But if essentially what the government is doing is transferring almost all of the wealth of the country to East Indians through procurement fraud. And lastly, they are using the Guyana Police Force to attack me, Paul Slow, other people so they could jump and call us criminals. It hasn't worked. So we're asking, why are they using the Guyana Police Force to attack all their enemies?
All right.
Those are my questions.
Let him respond. Sir, Minister of Information.
Very well. So let me tell you first and foremost that any study done by a Rickford Burke cannot be considered anything credible. Absolutely not credible.
And anything you say can't be considered credible either.
Number two, Rickford Burke, as far as I am aware, is an individual who manufactures stories after stories.
So too you do.
Yes, in relation to the matter of contracts in our country, the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board administers contract. This is a body that was established by law under the People's Progressive Party civic government of previous times that administers contracts in our country. One, since we have come back into government, we have increased the numbers of persons who have been able to have public contracts to conduct public infrastructure across our country and in other works as well. And let me tell you, at least you have about almost 49 to 50% of those contracts. You have young Afro-Guyanese men and women and families who are beneficiaries of contracts. We have about close to 3,000 new contractors. You just go around our country on a daily basis. I will pay your ticket to come, Mr. Moderator, to see what takes place across this country.
The clean drains, contract the clean drains.
Junior, it wants to induce you now. The government, you think you can't buy a ticket, right? So you must go on and take their money for buying a ticket. That's what I do to black people. Get out of here with nonsense, Paul. You could buy your own ticket.
Across the country, listen, I am not, the truth is, I came onto this program because I learned of this program and all the things that are being said against this government, and I have a right to defend this government.
I have a right to say the government is racist and corrupt.
I am offended by all of the
by the truth. The truth offends you. You're offended.
The truth offends you, Kwame.
Okay.
And the bottom line is,
don't talk about bottom, Kwame. That's not a phrase.
I am capable of dealing with you.
Okay. And I am capable of dealing with you, Kwame. So proceed. I am capable of dealing with you.
Guyana for that debate.
All right. Hold on again.
I am capable of dealing with you too. So let's fire away.
All right. Nobody dealing with nobody here tonight. All right. This is not no dealing thing. This is not no fight.
Why get out of here with your lies?
Information, conversation.
To you,
Mr.
We can point to you whenever, wherever.
Yes.
The numerous Afro-Guyanese who are part and parcel of the development process activities across this country, whether they are contractors, whether they are beneficiaries of house lots or homes, whether they are partaking in the construction industry as private contractors.
Junior, ask him why the government took away the money from Prodigy. Why did the government take away the money from the largest black organization?
Hold on.
We can point to you very real examples of where this exists. We have no interest.
Okay.
We have no interest.
I think it's about
all right, Mr. Kwame.
We have no interest.
You gotta go on and on. That is what he's trying to do.
Anyone?
Kwame, shut up, let the man speak.
Hold on. Let me wrap it up. So, listen, I hate to rush you, but I have to go. I have to say one thing though. I appreciate the invitation to come to Guyana to do the investigation, but I could come and I could pay my way and I could do the investigation.
Exactly.
Because if it has to be, hold on. No. Let me say this. I could come to Guyana and my investigation would not be tainted one way or the other, right? I would be independent in my judgment if I do decide to come to Guyana and articulate my observation. So I'll pay my own way, I'll come to Guyana and I'll come back and report if I so fit. All right?
Junior, please allow me to respond to some personal allegations.
We have to run, Kwame.
That's your prerogative.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate
That's your prerogative.
Thank you for calling. I appreciate you. And appreciate you taking the time to call, all right?
Let me get that's a 1 minute or so, because he attacked me personally.
Yeah.
Saying that I have been associated with the opposition and all kind of nonsense. Let me tell you, and the people who know, I was a police officer for 37 years. The PPP considered me as up to a particular time as one of the most professional police officers in the force. When the PPP came into office, I know where Kwame was, which bottom house he was under. If he was 1992, on the 5th of October, there was election. I was in charge of what they call the riot squad in Guyana. There was disturbance in Georgetown. I, as a superintendent, went there and restored order to Georgetown in record time. For that, I was considered the most professional police officer by the PPP, so much so that I was given a national award in 1998 for my performance in 1992 and again in 1997. So for Kwame McCoy, a propagandist, to come now and to say that I have been always for all the years against anti-government, people will tell you that Paul Slow, me, I was considered by the PPP, they said so publicly, as the most professional police officer there was. I didn't take political sides. I did what I was trained to do. I swore to protect, to preserve life and to enforce the law, and I did that regardless. That is there for people to see. So when Kwame McCoy comes now to talk is proper is nonsense. And when did the thing turn? In 2003, I was the commander of B Division, and the same Jagdio was the president, and his Minister of Home Affairs, Gadraj, tried to order me to return a firearm to one of their colleagues and businessmen inappropriately. And I stood up. I said, no, this investigation has not reached this stage. Jagdio called me and told me I should apologize to Gadraj, and I refused to apologize because I said I did not do anything wrong. For that, they moved to get me out of the force. I had to go to court to get an injunction to prevent them. And for that, Jagdio kept me as an assistant commissioner for 11 years. So Kwame Common, 11 years, from 1999 until I retired in 2010. When I retired in 2010, the gift I got from the PPP, who people will say I saved, right, was a lawsuit saying that I commented on a matter that was before the court. The Attorney General Charles Ramsey sued me. That is the gift I got from them. So when Kwame come here to talk a lot of crap, I have to respond. Right. I have to ask any known businessman in Georgetown, including the PPP supporters, who I am and what I did, my role and my professionalism in the police force and in guidance. The PPP gave me a national award, Discipline Service Medal, gave me a national award. And then I got another national award in 2020, I think it was. So for Kwame to come here and to say all of these things, and what he didn't say, you know, one of the previous callers said I was charged and I'm before the court trying to give the impression that I'm a criminal. Kwame is a criminal because he was convicted.
Oh, Lord.
He was convicted. It's a fact.
Let me say this. Let me say this before we go any further. Right along live.
Right along live. The facts, the truth will set you free. The truth, and Judy, you don't have anything to say because the records are there.
And comments expressed during this broadcast are those of the individuals involved.
Disclaimer. Yeah, disclaimer.
Reflect the views of Right Along Live or its affiliate. Right Along Live is not responsible for any action taken views based on content presented during the stream. We encourage all participants to follow the local laws of the respective community guideline. Viewers' discretion.
You're just gonna text from your lawyer, but somebody, we're not liable anybody here. We've stated facts, and I'm in the United States where there's freedom of speech.
No, but outside of that, let me. And these are facts. I didn't know it would have gone here. I sort of quote all the. Kwame McCoy was investigated for the murder of Courtney Cramering. He was arrested by the police as a suspect in that murder.
All right.
Let him deny that. Courtney Cramering, the activist who was shot and killed in 2015.
Let me go to I have the MP Nima Flu-Best on the line.
Yes.
The call right now. Caller, you're live. MP, you're live.
Good evening. Good evening.
How are you doing,
Thanks
MP?
for having me on the live.
Thank you so much for
I'm
joining
good.
us. Yes.
Working hard as usual.
Yes, good. MP, I was giving you information to contact you because I was told that you have some very valuable input to this discussion. Please help us and give us.
With regard to the Mucka residents whose KMView residents whose home were broken down.
All right. So, before I make my comment directly to Moko, McCoy is paid to do what he does, just what he just did. Share his own propaganda and their own views that are not factual. In the case of my community, Mocha, today they had a roadside meeting, as the PPP would call it, where all these ministers turn up in our village without making contact with the NDC. So that alone tells you the attitude of these people. They feel because they're in government, even if the local areas have persons in charge, especially those who voted for the opposition, the coalition government, the government does not communicate with them. So it's a no manners government. They just feel that they got the right to walk into the village and do as they please. Secondly, on Caneview issue, Caneview is a village, a small village that existed for over 30 years. And on the 5th of January, 2023, the PPP government graded down that community. 9 families were displaced with 20 children. And those people today are still homeless and awaiting justice
MP, let me ask
through
you
the
this
court
question.
system.
Let me ask you a quick question on that.
Yeah.
Were they given any option before it was taken down?
The option that they were given was for person to remove and go to a new location. However, the persons who depended on the land for their living, the farmers and those persons who farmed the land, the government wanted them to sell all of their livestock, get rid of all their fruit trees and everything, and move to an area where they cannot earn on the land.
Right.
And so the people objected to that. So the 9 families that were displaced were persons who were farmers and business people. They and earned from the land. They had no boss on themselves. And so the government wanted them to be in that position where they cannot earn from the land, but they must go work with people. In that same story, there's a woman there that was a teacher, She used to teach, but she decided that she was getting her children and she didn't want people to care for them. So she left her and sent all our children to school.
Right.
So that was the issue that we had there at Caneview.
Right.
Now, they know, the government is fully well aware that they're wrong to those people. Those people occupy those lands through permission. They weren't squatters. But yet still, this government, so wicked, they broke down those places, and you know what they did? Buried every remaining evidence to show that Caneview actually existed. I'd be more than willing to share videos and photos of the same. They buried people's cattle out there because they wanted those people to go to nothing. And those who accepted the compensation, if you go where they are, they're not comfortable, incomplete homes and all that over a year, going to 2 years. And the people are like that. I want to say to people, we cannot be fooled. You displace a whole community, and then you come and you build a road. It's not equivalent to what you've destroyed. You destroy people's livelihood, you destroy people's culture, you destroy people's earnings, and you put those people out of bread. School reopens and we have over 100 children in Guyana that are displaced by the PPP government from grading down and displacing them from their homes, but nothing is being done to address the needs of these children by the government. So these are issues that people must pay attention to. So they run in and say, oh, we do a road, but you do a road. But you displace 9 families by grading them down, destroying all the personal belongings, destroying all the business, leaving them homeless. And you come and build a road for $2 million, $3 million, or how much million, because it's like called a lot of price.
Right.
And tell the community that you're doing something to develop the community. What is better than a people being self-sufficient and being able to adequately provide for their household without having to leave your children in the care of strangers, but you're there earning, providing for your children, providing for your family, and they're in a safe space.
Right.
Going out on work doesn't cut it for everybody. So they have not thought about this, the psychosocial impact of these actions that the government continue to take against innocent people, poor people who cannot gratefully stand up for themselves against this government that is undemocratic.
Yes. MP Bess, so who the distribution of this land, who has this land? Who was this land now given to, or portions of the land?
Well, word in the street is that there's this set land that is for displaced on.
I don't want the word on the street.
It's streamlined to be allocated.
I want the facts, not the word on the street. Because the word on the street could be.
Well, I can't tell you exactly who they plan to allocate the land to, but I heard the land will be allocated to people to other people to do business.
Okay.
Instead of allowing those people to continue the business there. So these are things that we have to continue paying attention to.
Okay.
Junior, one of the questions I wanted to ask the MP is, MP Bess, could you tell us whether or not these homes that were brought down were in the path of the road?
No, the homes were never in the path of the road, never. Where these homes are located, there's a whole 2 canals before you reach the 4-lane highway. And there's land space between the canals. So the claim that the government went out with initially to say that the 4-lane highway was passing in the path where the people were living was not true. It was not true. So that's totally false.
You know, I think.
And I will be willing to share things with you.
Yeah.
On that.
Yes, MP Bess. I think we need an entire program just to discuss with you. I think we need to set that up sometime in the near future, where we can have a conversation with you as the MP of that area there. Anything else you'd like to add, MP?
Again, I want to call on Guyanese people not to be fooled. The government has a responsibility to provide infrastructure, health care, protection, social services, and all these things to people. There's not favors. I think that's what Guyanese has run away with. They're not favors. They are supposed to provide those services for the citizens of this country. And it ought to be provided fairly. I want to say to people, we're in a different time and age. Technology is there. Things happening by you, take pictures, make videos, put them out so people can see exactly what is happening. Right now, I'm monitoring a situation where another group of families is on the verge of being graded down by the government because they are wicked and vindictive. But I will not put out more information on that. I'm putting together some information to send it out directly to persons to understand how this government is very, very vindictive and wicked, especially when it comes to people of African descent and poor people in this country who does not, or people who is not affiliated to the government. Very wicked and vindictive. So I'm calling on my fellow Guyanese. Wake up. This is a time to sleep. We have to stand up against a barbaric government and wait for elections to come so that we can get them out of office.
All right. Thank you so much, MP Bess.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. All right, guys. So this is wrap-up time. We went way over the allocated time. I said it a million times already, but we have to wrap up now, guys. So let's.
Yeah, I have to go to.
Yes. We have a call on the line, but we can't take any more calls. Caller, thank you so much. I appreciate your call, but we can't take any more calls. All right, unless you just want to say hi real quick, caller. Unless you just want to say hi really quickly.
Yes. We have a call on the line.
All right, caller, you just want to say hi?
Yes.
Okay. Just 5 seconds. 5 seconds, real quick.
5 seconds. Okay, this is Gavin Matthews Bay. I think somebody called in and impersonated me earlier, but I would have liked to. Yes, Mr. Burke. And all those who noticed, somebody called in and impersonated me earlier. I was annoyed.
So you, Gavin Matthews?
Yes, this is the voice.
Junior, he's Gavin Matthews, and he's a talk show host, and he's been arrested twice.
I know the voice.
Criticizing the government.
What? So
yeah.
So you the real Gavin Matthews?
Real Gavin Matthews.
I am the real Gavin Matthews.
The real Slim Shady.
The man, every time he criticizes the government, he gets arrested.
Wait.
Yeah. So my I was calling what a million times, but I wasn't getting through because I was so much annoyed.
A lot of calls.
Somebody called in and said they're Gavin Matthews. I'm like, what? Are you serious?
And you're not aware of another by the same name?
No, not aware of another.
Gavin, why don't you tell Junior about your experience getting arrested whenever you criticize the government?
Record, you understand another
Oh, Lord.
But Junior, they said we lying. They said we lying.
Exactly.
So, Gavin,
you know,
go ahead.
It's a rough road, and because I worked with them, let me help you to know that I was a presidential guard for roughly 15 years. I worked under the PPP government as a presidential guard, so I was up close and personal. I have seen things, I have observed things. That I know it was meted out to my black brothers and sisters wrongfully. They have done it, and they will keep on doing it again. And they don't mind who they employ that seems to be looking like me. As long as they're slaves to them and they carry out their propaganda and their agenda, that's good. And I will always keep on talking about them because they are a destructive element to the black race in Guyana. I'm very serious about it. And those who want to talk, I call them the $15 million contractors and the $10 million contractors because they just get up and represent them. They cannot get anything more than that. Because if you check, the persons who are getting $5 and $15 billion doesn't look like them. They are micro, and the person the PPP is dealing with is macro. But being serious, because I talk out against them, yes, I've been arrested. Mr. Ramson is the last one who said that I caused him emotional distress. But my plea is different. He's working for a terrorist government, and that's true. I'm sorry to use your show to say this, but anything that the PPP does to us, it's terror. It's absolutely terror. 1,480 of my brothers.
Gavin, hold on 1 second. I got to say something. I got to say something. Right Along Live is a streaming platform for entertainment purposes only. All views, opinion, and comments in this broadcast are those
disclaimer, yes,
and do not necessarily reflect the views of Right Along Live or its affiliate. Right Along Live is not responsible for any action taken by viewers based on the content presented during the stream.
I'm good with that. I'm just plain spoken. I can't help it.
Okay.
I put the water in the steam iron and press them out. They gotta be pressed.
Yeah.
These people gotta be pressed. We gotta wake up and stop drinking the coffee as it is, because we're being poisoned with all kind of things. And the entertainment industry is destroying us in this country, because every time the PPP wants to steal something, they bring Sean Paul and somebody. Look, they're advertising. What's his name? We got out to jail the other day from Jamaica.
Vibes Cartel.
And you check it. They're climbing fences to go on a ship, to go and enjoy themselves dressed in yellow.
Yes.
And breaking down these fences, and they're paying $8,000 to enter. But they're not fences to go and tell these people and protest against them.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Gavin, we have to save some for part 2. All right?
Yes. Hope it's soon.
That's it, guys. Thank you guys so much. That's a show.
Okay, good.
Wow, Gavin, thank you so much. Whoa.
You're welcome.
Rickford, 2 words.
Yes, sir.
Just 2 words. End with 2 words. No longer.
Thank you. Thank you. We had a good expose of what goes on in Guyana. You didn't have only my view. You heard the MP. You heard callers come in. What is going on in Guyana is apartheid, and we have to stop it. And so long as I have breath, I will fight against anybody who wants to subjugate Afro-Guyanese people and any other persons, whether it's in Guyana or anywhere else. And I will continue to stand up and speak out. They can get the police force, they can get the U.S. Army, they could get the Marines. I will speak out.
Right. Okay.
I will speak out, and I will continue to fight them. And I call on other Guyanese to stand up for your rights, stand up for democracy, and stand up for what is right, and stand up to end PPP racism in Guyana now.
Thank you for your 2,000 words there, Mr. Rickford Burke.
Thank you.
Mr. Paul Slow, final word, sir.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm glad for the opportunity to be here this afternoon and to express these few views. I am looking forward to
part two,
the other session. And I also, because there's so many things I want to talk about. I didn't get to talk about the Indianization of the police I command. And they get, and this is not just me saying so.
Yeah.
I give you facts, I give you statistics.
On part two. On part two.
And that is what we do. As I said, they cannot handle the truth. When you speak the truth, they come at you. But the truth is the truth. As a former senior police officer, we had a commissioner who used to say facts. He spoke in what we call a country accent, and that he used to say facts are stubborn things. They don't go any place. And that is what we bring to you, facts. And anything that I say on this program, or I have said on this program, or any other program that I participate in, I challenge anyone to check and to dispute it, because I am bringing you live and direct the facts as they are. And that is what they cannot take.
Thank you so much, Mr. Slow. We appreciate you so much. Rickford Burke, Mr. Slow. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, and good night to listeners.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you. Good night.
Soon. All right. Yeah. Woo. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of our program. Before you leave, guys, I know it probably some of you, that's your first time here. Follow the program. Follow Ride Along Live, because Ride Along Live is the engaging platform, right? We talk about everything. We deal with everything. We're not scared of engaging on any topic. Whether it affects you in Grenada, Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Guyana, it doesn't matter. Ride Along Live is your platform. And we also say that everyone has a story to tell. So you might have a story to tell, to share with our public or viewing audience. We want to hear you. So follow the page, like the page. If you're on YouTube, follow the page. Before you leave, give us a star, right? Tell your friends about us and keep following for interesting conversation, commentary, and just good vibe. Right Along Live. Thank you for watching, guys. And if you a business, a company, and you want to advertise on this platform, reaching millions every single day, hit us up. Give us a call. Inbox us. Thank you, guys. Good night.
Power to the people, we shine. Giving fans what they need. Caribbean spirit, let's succeed. Every show with a good deed. Together we plant the seed. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host, we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride a sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host, we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride a sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host, we belong.
Today. Located inside Rider Excursion at the Esplanade Mall, we handle both small and large orders with speed and precision. For fast, quality t-shirt printing, call Instaprint at 473-422-1011. Get your perfect print today at Instaprint. Printing done in an instant.
Pick yourself up with Ride Rent a e-bike today and take advantage of the smartest and coolest way to get around. Rental starting for only $30 per hour and less than $100 EC per day. Zip through traffic, save money, and look awesome doing it. Check us out at the Esplanade Mall today. Visit us online at ridersebike.com or give us a call at 473-422-1011. Your wallet and the planet will thank you. Ride Rent a e-bike.
What if you had a choice? A choice of joining a line or a choice of making your purchases online? What would you choose? While you ponder on that, the National Lotteries Authority has provided another purchasing option. All their games are now available online. Yes, Grenadians! From wherever you are, purchase your favorite daily and jackpot type games using any electronic device. Register on the NLA's website at www.nla.gd. Top up your account and enjoy online lottery gaming at your convenience. We're taking shopping comfort up, up, up several notches. But the choice is yours. Join a line or buy online. NLA, make your dreams come true.
Yeah. Guys, just a bit of information here. Job opening opportunity for certified nursing assistant, CNA, in the New York City area. Now listen very carefully. You might know someone. You might be the person that's looking for a job. Job opportunity, certified nursing assistant, CNA, in the New York City area. All Pro Staffing Solution is seeking experienced certified nursing assistants to join the qualified and professional team. And that's in Jamaica, Queens, right? So compensation pay over $26 an hour. Write this down, guys. If you're interested, full-time and part-time positions available. Must have at least 2 years experience as a CNA. If you're a compassionate and skilled CNA looking for a new opportunity, we want to hear from you. Give them a call right now. In fact, you could call them right now. They open late and they're waiting for your call. If you want that opportunity, guys, in New York City, 516-837-4246. Let me take it slower. 387. So 516-387-4246. Say it slowly. 387-4246. That's 516-387-4246 to apply. Don't miss out on the chance to take advantage and make a difference. Again, that's certified nursing assistant in Jamaica, Queens. Call right now. They're actually there waiting on your call. The number again, 516-387-4246. All right. Certified CNA in NYC, job opening, your opportunity, or send it to someone that may be looking for this opportunity, all right? Certified CNA in New York City. Call him right now. The number again is 516-387-4246. When you call, tell them right along, give you the information, okay? Right along, give you the information. Also, guys, I got to tell you this. If you're in Grenada, you're going to be in Grenada, and you're looking for a car rental in Grenada, you're traveling to Grenada, we got SUVs and they got some small cars. Call them right now. The number that you call is 473-422-1011. That's 473-422-1011. That's car rental on the island of Grenada. If you're there, if you're traveling to Grenada, they can pick you up at the airport, sort you out. They have SUVs, 8-passenger SUVs, ton of suitcase, luggage could fit in that. An opportunity to go in the rough terrain as well. For more information, again, guys, you can call 473-422-1011. That's 473-422-1011. Or you could scan this QR code on screen. And just scan that QR code on screen. Okay? Scan that QR code on the screen, and you're good to go, right? In Grenada, e-bike rentals and tours. It's Riders e-bike rentals and tours. Where's the flyer? There we go, right here. Wanna experience the Spice Isle on e-bike? But just want to get around eco-friendly. Yeah? Call Ride e-bike excursions and tours, and they're located inside the Esplanade Mall. It's Ride. Now the same number, 473-422-1011. That's 473-422-1011. It's Ride. Are you looking for t-shirt printing in New York or in the Caribbean or worldwide? They ship. Call this number, 718-701-5720. That's t-shirt printing from Instaprint. Instaprint. Get your t-shirt printing and a whole lot more. Guys, this is coming to Grenada. This is Ride Diamond. Ride Diamond is, you guys know Uber, right? Yeah, sure you know Uber. So you want a taxi? You want to get around quickly? You don't want to pick up the phone and call nobody? This is what you need. You need some Ride Diamond in your life. Right? If you have an iPhone right now, there are some few features that are not unlocked as yet, but get the app now so that when all the features are unlocked, you'll be the first to be a part of the Ride Diamond experience. Just go into the app store. If you're in an Apple store, you could go into the right now and search for Ride Grenada, RYDE Grenada, and download the app right now. It's Ride Diamond. Features are being unlocked, and next month we officially launching the Ride Diamond, where you could call or request a taxi, a water taxi, a bus, a cargo van with your app. Ride Diamond, download it from the Apple Store right now. Android, folks, is coming soon. It's coming soon. Give it in 15 days. It will be in the Google Play Store. All right. All right. Nice. Let me see what else I have. Flying to Grenada. If you're flying to Grenada, you got to fly with JetBlue. Jump on a flight, jump on a plane, and fly with JetBlue. With 2 flights per day from JFK to Grenada, JetBlue is the way to go. Fly JetBlue. Check them out online. Book online at jetblue.com. That's jetblue.com. Coming soon. Ride the waves. Yeah, ride the waves. An opportunity and experience, for the entire family. Ride the waves. More information coming on that as well. Yeah. If you, yes, you have a business, want to advertise right here on Ride Along Live to a global audience, please give us a call, 718-701-5720, or inbox us. We love to hear from you. All right? What else is in? So I told you about this. Oh, still open. If you are in SGU, St. George's University, and you want to rent an e-bike for long term, yeah, there we have a pay half. Student at SGU pay half. All right, give them a call, 473-422-1011 if you're in the Spice Isle, Grenada. All right. I think I covered everything. Right? Oh, if you have a Fire Stick, a Fire TV, and you want to keep abreast as to what's happening, you want to watch it on your television, you can now download the Ride Along Live app on your Fire Stick. All right, so go in there right now and search Ride Along Live on your Fire TV. That's right there, Ride Along Live on your Fire TV. Download the app and take in all the entertainment information and a whole lot more. Ride Along Live. It just feels good. Feels good, don't it? Yeah, it feels good. What else is in the caddy? Oh, excursions. Told you about excursions. We told you about tours. We told you about advertising. Advertise on Ride Along Live. It pays to advertise on Ride Along Live. Okay? I think I did everything. I think I mentioned everything, right? If anybody's celebrating their birthdays today, we say happy birthday to you. Catch you guys again tomorrow. Tomorrow, guys, we're going to be speaking with Mr. Killer. And you know, Mr. Killer just cut off all his locks, right? And I hold in my hand here. This is a piece of my dreadlock, right? And someone tell me I might be next, right? So this was holding here. I had to give somebody a souvenir, a very special person a souvenir. So that's their souvenir. So you never know, probably tomorrow when Mr. Killer come on the program, both of us is going to be dreadless because Mr. Killer don't have his dread anymore. So you never know. I might cut off my hair by tomorrow too. You never know. That's it. That's it. All right, I'm gone. Thank you so much, guys. Catch you guys again tomorrow. Right along live. Good night.
Join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host we belong.